Lads, we are live at last.
Finally.
Come on.
We finally got to sort this.
Grab your beers, everyone. We're finally on.
Oh, lads, the stress.
Stress and balls.
You don't understand. Cheers for the patience. Thanks for bearing with us. But oh my God, you don't understand the stress of technology. But we got there. We got there in the end. We're finally live. We're finally up and running. Right, let's keep the fingers crossed now that nothing else goes against us here. We don't get a gust of wind or the power goes or something. The night I'm having here, it's probably going to happen. But sure, look, we make the best of it. So, lads, welcome back. It feels a long time since our last one, to be honest.
Too long.
Really those guys.
Yeah, keeping good since we last spoke, yeah?
Oh, yeah. All good in the hood now.
The boys say that.
Ready to rock again tonight now?
Yeah, good stuff, lads. Right, so just for anybody who's not aware, basically what we're doing here tonight, we've taken a list of under 23, well, I guess you call it 23 and under because some of the players are 23. So 23 is the max age. So from 23 and below in the Premier League, we're not necessarily saying this is the best. It's probably up there, you know, again, the night I'm having, I probably missed some absolute obvious players, but this current group that we have in this list, we're basically going to rank what we feel the career is going to pan out to be. You know, will they end up being world class? Should they just pack it in now and apply for a job in Tesco? That's what we're going to find out. So, you know, remember, before we get started, do like the video. I can see the comment box is absolutely hopping already. So, yeah, look, come on, keep sending the abuse in.
Get them in.
This is technical difficulty.
What we're here for.
We deserve it. Technical difficulty. Look, abuse me. It's my fault. Look, I'll be honest. I only woke up. Okay. You got it. You got it on me. I only woke up.
I was asleep all day. He's asleep all day again.
He's a night hawk.
Yeah, I had a rough night. Okay, I had a rough night. So yeah, look, you know, keep the abuse coming. Keep it coming. No, but look, definitely do join in. Let us know what you feel about where we rank certain players and whatever. You know, we get a bit of banter going in the chats. As I said, do like the video. You know, share it about. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already. So lads, look, let's get cracking away. So I'm going to scroll this down, and what we do is we just go by order of the first player on the list.
What categories have we there first, though?
Yeah, so if you see at the top, we have will become world class. So that's obviously going to be the best rated. Then we'll have a hugely successful career. We'll have a decent career. Won't last in the Premier League. Will become a journeyman, which is basically, you know yourself, he's probably going to be one of those players just bounces around for the rest of his career. And then the bottom one there probably should be in red, and the top one should be in green. But again, we're going with it. Should get a job in Tesco. No disrespect to anyone working in Tesco, but yeah.
No disrespect to anyone working in retail, but you know yourself, going from footballer to retail.
That's it. So look, I'm going to scroll this down now so we can have a look. So there, I hope everyone can see that. There is the list of players. I might just throw it up on screen for everyone to have a quick look. So we've got Martinelli, we've got Fofana, we've got Roden, Kieran Tierney, Alexander-Arnold, Brandon Williams. We've got Kai Havertz, we've Ferran Torres, Ramsdale, Rashford, Wan-Bissaka, Declan Rice, Pulisic, Richarlison, Charlie Gilmore, Gabriel, Eze, I think that's how you say it, isn't it? Eze, easy.
Yeah.
Eze. Ruben Neves, who, you know, Ruben Neves was a surprise to me of how young he actually
is. I knew he was young enough. I didn't think he'd make this bracket. No.
23, yeah.
We're speaking about Ruben Neves a while, and
he's weird.
Yeah,
he's weird.
Even Richarlison, I was forgetting how young Richarlison still is.
It's bad when you look at a few of them that you think like, geez, their whole careers ahead of them, like.
Oh, crazy! So you got Reece James, you got Mason Mount, you got Hudson-Odoi, Smith Rowe, Bukayo Saka, Pedro Neto, Phil Foden, Dwight McNeil, Lamptey, Greenwood, Curtis Jones, and Tyreek Mitchell, Crystal Palace. So that's our list. So what do you want to do? Do you want to go from Tyreek Mitchell up? Do you want to start from Gabriel Martinelli down, or do you want to just do a mixture? We'll each randomly pick a player.
just bang them out there. We'll each just you start off there and go wherever you want.
Grant. So we will start then. Gabriel Martinelli. So Martinelli. So again, look, this is. I know I compiled this list, but I was sort of just throwing players in there that I knew people would get a bit of debate in that going. So even for me, I'm going to have a think about these. You know, I didn't sit about and say, well, I know exactly where I'm putting everybody. So I'm as in the dark as the rest of you. And with the technical issues, I probably actually will be in the dark in the next few minutes the way things are going. But hope for the best, yeah. So look, Martinelli, obviously, I'm an Arsenal man. I think anyone associated with Arsenal will tell you that this kid is one of the most hyped prospects at our club, and rightfully so. We signed him from Brazil's Serie D for 6 million, and nowadays 6 million, an absolute steal. You could see under Unai Emery, he got a bit of a chance. He's a left winger. Emery played him up front, and he went on to score, I think it was 10 goals in his first season. Now, he's been out the last while with a pretty serious injury, so he's slowly on the comeback. Now, Arteta's not really rushing him. But look, I think this kid is going to want to do serious things. I don't necessarily think, as much as it hurts me to say, I don't necessarily think it's going to be with Arsenal. I think he's going to fall into the category of will have a hugely successful career. Again, I don't know, the way Arsenal are nowadays, I don't see how we're going to hang on to a guy like this if we don't start challenging for things soon. But for me, Martinelli will have a hugely successful career wherever he does end up. Hopefully, Arsenal.
I'd have him in the category below there. Will have a decent career just for the simple fact that he's at Arsenal. No disrespect to Anto and Arsenal, but I can't see Arsenal winning many trophies for the next while. And will he still be there? Like, who's he going to go to after this? No one knows.
No one knows.
I think, like, he scored, you said he scored 10 goals in his first Premier, which is huge return.
Yeah, I think he might have got more, to be honest. He might have got more.
He has 10 goals in 32 Premier League games, which is a good return. That's
which is a serious return for a player. Like, I think United are in for him. I think 2 trials as well. Yeah. And I've seen a photo of him with Paul Pogba and stuff but at the same time, for us to reject him, Arsenal pick him up. In the Europa League especially, Martinelli's he's quiet. I don't think there's too much hype about him, which is good sometimes, But I do think, where's his best position at though?
You know what? I liked him as a striker, and when he played there, like. For a guy, he's not the tallest guy, but he's very good in the air. He scored a lot of goals with his head. And you know what I like about him? His position is left wing, and even when he was playing up front, Unai Emery made no secret that he said his best position is actually left winger. He said, I know he's doing well up front and he's scoring goals, but he's not a striker, he's a left winger. But he has, to me, he's got attributes of Alexis Sanchez where, he's going to run all day. He's got that kind of tenacity about him. He's a bit of a scrapper. Like, okay, he's not got that nasty streak. Maybe it will come. But to me, he reminds me a little bit of a mixture of Alexis Sanchez and Luis Suarez. And if you can get a guy with those kind of attributes, I think you have a serious player on your hands if you can keep him fit.
I do rate him. I think he's a great player. When I'm looking at the categories the way they are here, and you're looking at will become world class. When I think will become world class, I'm like verging on. You might be in line. You mightn't win a Ballon d'Or, but one year you might be in the running for a Ballon d'Or. Do you know that kind of way? And I don't know will he ever have that. And then a hugely successful career. Will he win trophies? Will he be the main man to win them trophies? It's hard to know. I can't see him doing it at Arsenal.
Exactly. That's the thing.
I put him down. Like, that's the thing. I put him down. He won't last in the Premier League. I do think he'd be snatched up by someone in League One or La Liga.
Yes, that's kind of my feeling. As I said, when I'm looking at some of the players in the list, I'm not necessarily judging, the category you're going to put them in. Martinelli, for example, I'm kind of thinking, I don't see that kid. He's not going to finish his career at Arsenal. You know what I mean? He's 20 now. I do see this guy being good enough that he will go on to play for somebody along the lines of Barcelona, Real Madrid. Like, that's how highly I rate this guy.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he did from what I've seen from him so far. It's it's so hard. I know, as I said, no disrespect to Arsenal, but I just can't see Arsenal winning a lot of trophies over the next few years. And I don't know will he be around long enough to win the trophies with Arsenal if they do start winning trophies. So if you're
to be honest, I don't think any of us are going to be around long enough to see Arsenal win trophies.
It's such a long process. God knows how long Arteta will be given, but it's Arsenal. We won't be seeing Arsenal win any top trophies for a while. Battling with Bayern Munich and getting dumped out early.
Yeah, well, look, as I said, my personal feeling, I'm not necessarily saying he's going to be hugely successful at Arsenal. I just think 20 years of age, if you can keep him fit and on the right track, keep him developing the way he did. As I said, he stepped up from the Brazilian Serie D. He signed for us. He was 18. He's only just 20 now. He had plenty of trials at Man United. For whatever reason, it never worked out. But I think he will. I can definitely see him once he starts playing regular football. I can definitely see him getting into the Brazilian side because he's got the likes of Gabriel Jesus, and no disrespect to Jesus, but I think he can definitely at least be on par ability-wise. Gabriel Jesus, I can't see why he's not going to get time in the Brazil side. He's a bit more established. And as I keep saying, it hurts me to say, but I do think he will move on to kind of a bigger and better club eventually. If Arsenal don't start showing the ambition, you're not going to keep guys like that. So maybe Barca, Real someday, and he will win things there.
To be honest, I don't see him go that high. I honestly don't. It could be, I think, a club like Lyon, maybe.
No, better than Leon. Maybe not Barcelona or Real Madrid, but he definitely.
I could probably see somewhere like Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, which is a top side, one of the best in Europe.
100%.
I just realised that though, because you said Jesus there. He's not in the list. He's only 23 as well.
Yeah, again, do you know what? As I said to you earlier,
I know there's going to be players missing, but I actually never even thought of myself when we were doing the list earlier.
Yeah,
which is mad.
Right. So who's next there?
All right. Where do we end up putting Martinelli? So it's yours now, Dan. It's yours now.
I think we're all in agreement. He's not going to work in Tesco. If he can keep himself fit, he's not working in Tesco. Put it that way. I think. I can't see him becoming a journeyman. I think, to be fair, right, he's going to be in that top 3 tier category from decent up to. Look, I'm not going to overhype and say world class. Maybe the 2.
I think decent for now, just because there's so many factors that need to come into play for him to go to that next level. He needs to switch club. He needs to stay doing it. He needs to go to the right club.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? It's not like. I actually do think if things fall right for him, he'll have a highly successful career. Yeah. But from where he is right now I just think right now, looking forward, it looks like he's going to have a decent career.
He's already an FA Cup winner. Already. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
And he has contributed. So.
But I think. Look, worst case, I think he'll have a decent career like that. My only concern about what would stop him going on to do more will be if he does commit too long to Arsenal and we remain stagnant. Obviously, that's going to affect the honours at the end of his career, and as well as that injury picked up. We don't know, is he going to come back the same player? That was a pretty serious injury for a young kid. But as much as I do like him, I do rate him very, very highly. But I'd be fair about it, and I would say, look, I'd be happy enough to put it in decent career with that in mind to see how he, gets on when he comes back.
When he gets back.
I'm happy with that.
So I'm happy with that. You'd have him as he'll have a decent career.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
I'm not happy with that. That's great. That's fair. I just think he won't last in the Premier League. But
I think it's out of them categories. I think that's where he should be at the minute. And there's a lot of better players on the list than him. So if he's gone in the highly successful career, then he might be pushing up. Do you know what I mean? I think it's the right place.
Yeah, so look, let us know in the chats what you think about that one, and we'll move on to the next. So next one we have Wesley Fofana, Leicester City, young centre half, came in from St Etienne, kind of used to partner William Saliba, who will be another one.
Brilliant centre half partnership with St Etienne, the thing about it is Leicester weren't really they were looking for Tarkowski, I think, last summer.
Yeah.
But then they just, they made their move for their man, Fofana. 36.5 million, there's question marks over that already, thinking.
It's a lot.
But Leicester's recruitment policy, they got rid of Harry Maguire there, they got rid of Ben Chilwell, but if, they can recruit well.
I think by what I've seen from him so far in the league, he's had 16 appearances this season. Mm-hmm. And from what I've seen from this season, he's as solid as they come for, what age is he, 20 years of age?
19 to 20, yeah.
Yeah, and I think himself and that Suchek will have a serious centre-back partnership for the next, as long as they can keep him. As long as they can keep Fofana. Where he
Soyuncu just missed out on the list. He's 24. He's
a lot of that bill. I'm thinking, when I was going through this, I'm thinking, wow, the build of them, it's swear they're 28, 29. But I think Fofana, as Ryan McGuire pointed out there, I think he'd be truly successful because he's getting playing. Brendan Rodgers is giving him minutes straight away. They have Johnny Evans on Soyuncu. They could have them starting. But he trusts Fofana now, and I put him down. Yeah, I actually think he'll be hugely successful.
He hasn't taken out of his depth at all in the Premier League since he came in, which is unusual for a younger player. If you look at, let's say, the likes of Kabak there for Liverpool now, and I'm not trying to get on Kabak's back.
Yeah, because he's only in the door,
Because he's only in the door. He should never be thrown in there what's happening in Liverpool under than the injury crisis and stuff like that. Yeah. But the fact of Fofana, and it wasn't the fact that he had to be thrown in, he was actually picked on merit, and he actually is in the team, and he's playing good stuff. He seems like he's going to have a really, really good future.
He's hungry for the ball. I mean, with Leicester, the way they play, play out from the back, fast counter-attack football and stuff, they think he's big, he's pacey, he's everything suited for him, all attributes for the Premier League. I think he will have a decent career, boys.
Yeah, at worst case, he's going to have a decent career. He's probably not going to win the things that you'd want in your career if you do remain at Leicester, but he's that young. Leicester have that policy to sell for profit. I know 30 million was a lot of money, but look, he's still that young. You could easily.
But 30 million in this day and age for a 20-year-old who's after coming in, he's already worth 40 million now. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. Yeah, I get you.
He's serious sell-on value. It's that's there. So.
They are sell-on. There are sell-on.
If we're putting them on the list right now, it's between the second and third category. We'll have a usually second. It's kind of a similar thing to Martinelli, except different positions, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's just the unknown. It's you don't know, will he stay at Leicester, and if he stays at Leicester, he's probably not going to win the titles, which will give him a hugely successful career.
Yeah.
So. Right now, I'd probably put him in the decent. He's going to have a decent career, just on that.
I'd agree. Yeah,
he's young. He'll definitely have more minutes behind him. He's definitely going to continue to start and build his career and progress as a player in the league. And there's no better club for him, I believe. I don't think there's any better club right now because they needed a centre half badly. They didn't land Tarkowski, but they got Fofana, and I think he's taken to the league by storm.
Yeah. So what are we saying? We're saying decent.
Yeah. You know what else I realised that though? Jesse Lingard wasn't in the list. He must be 21. 22.
He's
too young to make the list.
But I tell you what,
West Ham.
He sure know houses to dance at the Emirates.
I just looking at the comments there. There's one there with Daniel James. You know what? I had a list made early today, and there was I'm not joking, about 70 players. I'm not joking. There was about 70 players on the list. And I was trimming the list down, and I did have Daniel James. And you know what? It's funny. It's a couple of players I wanted to really make a point of having, and especially because of his improvement lately. And of course, didn't I go and chop him out of the list? And then Phil Foden is in the list.
He actually is in the list.
Yeah,
Lee Clark on that one, like he is. I tell you need to get the glasses on for you.
Like I said, this isn't us saying that this is the finalised list of the best 30 players. This is just a list of 30,
around 30 players to choose from. Future stars for the Premier League.
Exactly, because look, if we took the very, very best 30, we're going to put them all in the exact same category, basically. You have to have
because of the same age, in around the same age, you kind of put them in around the same category. But as we go on throughout this video, you'll realize some players are just like, they're going to make it.
Exactly. That's where you have to have a bit of variety. Like you could pick the best, 5 or whatever from each of the top clubs, and they're all going to be in decent or hugely successful. You might get the odd world class, but you won't fill up the rest of them. So look, we'll move on to the next anyway. So you've got Joe Rodon then from Spurs, centre back, Welsh international, isn't he?
Welsh international. I honestly think he's a panic buy. I realistically don't think Tottenham have been monitoring him for a while now, to be honest with you. It's just because of Jan Vertonghen going, Mourinho being Mourinho, reinforcements after reinforcements, never ended spending with him. I don't think we've seen enough for us to really think that he's going to have a decent Premier League career.
It's a hard one to call. I agree with you that he was a bit of a panic buy, all right. I actually don't know. I'm going to be honest. I don't know a whole lot about him because it was just he's one of their players.
But he hasn't been given much minutes. At the start there, like you'd have him or Tanganga, but it's always going to be Alvaro that gets in there.
Yeah, from what I just a bit of research I done, I couldn't see journeyman. I agree with Ryan M there, whoever Ryan M.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
That's what I was literally going to say. I was going to think like, boys, how do you see like a player like him right now? He was snapped for like 15 million or something from Swansea.
Yeah.
Possibly like they're going to get promoted or whatever, but who knows? We'll wait and see. But I do think like other clubs might get him on loan and then buy option and then buy him for cheap.
Yeah, I think that myself. I think it's going to be one of them where, look, Mourinho's probably going to be out the door in the next season or so, if he even lasts that long. A new man will come in. I just have a feeling Joe Rodon is going to be one of those. A new man's going to come in. He's going to make his own signings. Joe Rodon's going to get a bit pushed further back. He's probably going to go out on loan. Yeah, I just have a feeling he's going to be one of those. He'll bounce around the world, then you get a permanent move elsewhere. So I'm thinking journeyman.
Happy with journeyman there.
Yeah,
it's hard to put him anywhere. It's
I'm trying not to send him off to Tesco because he's a Spurs player, but I'll be kind. I'll make him a journeyman.
But you never know. His journey could take him to Tesco's.
Yeah. And here, speaking of Tesco, we've got the man himself, Kieran Tierney, who loves Tesco. What do we make Kieran Tierney?
Boys, actually, I have nothing but respect. I actually enjoy watching Kieran Tierney play. Like, just, he's quality.
Yeah, Tierney, again, look, I'm probably going to have this feeling about all the Arsenal players. I tried to be realistic as possible. I'm not one of these.
I tried to be so hopeful about it, like just thinking nothing but positive about the Arsenal players.
Yeah, but I'll be positive about them, but at the same time, I'm going to be real about them. And I think, for the young players, if they stay at Arsenal, they will have so much success. But obviously, if they move away from Arsenal, the way we're heading, they're not going to have as much success. So I definitely think future moves will definitely determine the career that they have. I
actually didn't think you were going to sign him. You know what I mean? I thought Arsenal would have just eventually pulled out of that deal and looked for someone else.
Well, I think, look, I definitely think, like, whatever the success about Celtic and all, you stay at Celtic, you're going to win things, you're going to play a bit of European football, like that's great. I don't think it can compare to a move to the Premier League. So I definitely think.
No disrespect to the Scottish League, but if you win a load of Scottish, like if Tierney didn't move, everyone is just saying, "Oh, you just won a load of Scottish leagues." Yeah, you have to go and prove it. If you go and prove it in England, then it's a big. It's a different.
Would I be wrong in saying that, like, before Kieran injury there they picked up would have been between him and Luke Shaw. That was like current best informed left backs in the Premier League.
If you're saying inform, like Robertson is the best left back in the league.
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah, but just based on form. Just based on form.
Right there now.
But you know what? I think form and stats. Yeah, like I know look, stats don't lie, whatever. But I still don't think stats tell the full story. I think so. You have to take into account a lot of different things. And look, it's easier for me to give a point of view on Tierney as an Arsenal fan. You might look at it statistically and you might say, right, well, he hasn't got that many assists. He doesn't contribute to goals, whatever, all that sort of stuff. But if you look at how important he is to our attacking play and what he does and his link-up play, and that he's absolutely vital to Arsenal, and he definitely doesn't get the recognition. Now, I will say he was absolute dirt for the Man City goal the other day. Mahrez ran rings around him, and I'm going to give him the benefit though. He's only just back. He's definitely not fully fit, and you could see. But when he's fit and he's in the side, he is absolutely vital to us. I think I see him as a potential Arsenal captain in the future. Just going by his attitude and coming from Celtic, he has the winning mentality. I don't think he's going to hang about at Arsenal too much longer. If we're not successful, he's not staying. There's no way.
If I look at, he hasn't really any competition for his place. He is cemented his place at Arsenal. Yeah. Like I've heard, like Scotland. Like if you're like all the Scotland viewers and all, like they qualified, didn't they? They managed to qualify for the Euros.
Yeah.
So like they have either Tierney or Robertson to choose from for left back options. Like, but
Marcus Alonso has been playing well, but I don't know. He probably won't be starting next week. Like, actually, what I want to ask you this question, lads. Myself and a couple of my Arsenal mates, I'm a Chelsea supporter, and they're Arsenal friends of mine, and we have this kind of running joke kind of thing. And I think Ben Chilwell is a better left back than Tierney, and they're saying that Kieran Tierney is way better left back. I'd be interested to see what the people in the chats have to say about him. What do you think? Who do you think's better? Who would you pick, Colin? Just as a neutral.
Yeah, that's actually a tough question. Like they're solid. They actually do perform. They give their all. It's like for like. But I'm gonna probably be controversial to some viewers and all that. But I actually do think Chilwell's better. But he's not far better. But he's better. Yeah, Chilwell gets better.
What do you think, Gato? Honest opinion.
Look, I know so much more about Tierney than I know about Chilwell. Like I don't watch 90 minutes of Chelsea every single week, whereas I do with Arsenal. So for me, obviously, I'm going to say Tierney. And it's not just, that I think he's a better player. I just think Tierney is a hell of a lot more important to Arsenal than Chilwell is to Chelsea. Like I think Chilwell is a lot easier replaced at Chelsea. Whereas we've seen it, we've lost Tierney, and we actually lost our attack for a long time.
So Saka and Tierney is very, very good. Like
since Tuchel came in to Chilwell hasn't really been playing. Like Alonso has been playing.
Yeah,
I can't get my head around that one. Why is he testing Alonso?
No, Alonso has been playing well. He actually has. And I actually thought Alonso's career at Chelsea was finished because he was starting to annoy me. Starting to annoy me, but I don't know. Tuchel seems to be after reviving him a small bit.
Yeah, but
Chilwell has a better delivery.
Chilwell's always going to get more hype because he's English. He's played in the Premier League. He costs more money. Yeah, he's always going to get more hype. Whereas Tierney is always.
Don't get me wrong. I like Tierney, but the boys, but I just think Chilwell's better. That's just it. Like out training in the snow, that would be telling me in a t-shirt and all this.
Yeah. Well, look, it depends. This we're going off topic a little bit, but I guess if you take the strengths of both players and weigh them up, I can't imagine. Again, look, I'm an Arsenal fan. I watch Arsenal every week. I can't imagine Chilwell is a better attacking player than Tierney. He might be a better defensive player, but if you watch Tierney attack and how he links up, how he links the whole left-hand side of our team for attack, it's like I said, he definitely doesn't get the respect from rival fans. Definitely not. You have to sit down and watch them. Now, not against Man City, watch a fully.
If the Arsenal fans weren't on to me about how great he was, my Arsenal friends, let's say, I'd say what I think of him really, but like I can't just because. Right, but I think as you said there, after going a bit off topic, where are we going to put Tierney on our list there now?
I think.
He's going
to be staying with Arsenal. I think
career as well. That's what I was thinking. Like if
he will have a decent career, I think.
Yeah. Look, if he stayed at Celtic, he'd be hugely successful. But at the same time,
successful in what though? And no offense, as I said,
exactly.
Because this season you aren't getting Europa League football. You aren't getting any.
But like it's
this season, so.
Is it more successful to play in the Europa League with Arsenal than win the Scottish Championship with Celtic? Like, and I think it's more successful to play in the Europa League.
Isn't it? It's I guess it's all about perspective because like you could take a lad out of League of Ireland and he could be winning the league every single year, and then you could put.
But you throw them in with the big lads,
Yeah, you put the Premier League and he gets relegated, and then.
Where would you have Tierney, Anthony? Where would you have him, Spitch?
I'd have him in decent. He's going to have a decent career.
Yeah, he'd have a decent career.
Yeah, like I said, if it doesn't work out with Arsenal, I think he's ambitious enough that he's not gonna be comfortable. He's a different mentality to the players we've had over the last couple of years that have been happy to hang on and pick up their wages and run down their contracts. I can't see Kieran Tierney doing that. Like, he's still only 23. I think I see a future captain in him. I think he might give us another 3-4 years. Still only makes him about 27. He can still move on and do plenty elsewhere.
He probably will cost, like, he probably won't want to lose any money on him as well, But now Arsenal being Arsenal, the contract negotiations with players to let players' contracts expire, get nothing for them.
So we're going decent.
Yeah,
we're going decent. Yeah,
I think that's fair. And then you have Alexander-Arnold next.
World class.
World class.
He's as the modern day fullback. He's just his transition.
If you take away the last 3 or 4 months, he's probably the best right back in the world for me.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, he still is the best right back in the world because the whole Liverpool team are actually playing useless at the minute. But Alexander-Arnold, the year they won the league, he was absolutely brilliant. Himself and Robertson, left and right back. Don't know how many. He's 29 assists for Liverpool, which at 22 years of age is absolutely
sensational.
He's already won the Premier League. He's already won the Champions League. I think it's other than 1 or 2 on the list. I think it's one of the easy ones. It's the easiest one, if not one of the easiest ones.
He's 116 appearances in the Premier League. Already at such a young age, it shows. Klopp obviously doesn't have to show. There's no excuse not to play Trent. Trent can even play in centre mid for you, and his. I do hear a lot of people saying, a lot of let's say United fans and a lot of Chelsea fans or whatever. Oh, well, he's a right back. His first job is to defend. But he's first in that system. The way Liverpool play, his first job isn't to defend. His first job is to. That's what I was saying. Like the modern day fullback, they're not really required to. You play as a wing back, but you're not asked to defend as much because you have the likes of Van Dijk there beside him who they're really missing, who was we all know he was just the anchor of that defence, the command in centre half. Yeah. Well, remember when Liverpool were playing City, and I think it was at Anfield as well, where Trent whipped over to Robbo first time to Salah, headed it. The 3 passes.
Whip across, it was class.
Yeah.
But he was doing that all year.
I think in terms of if what's going to rule him out being world class is people are saying his ability to defend, but at the same time, look, if you're in a system the way Liverpool play, in that position, your primary job isn't really to defend. You're joining the attack and you're helping out with assists. So I think your position and what you're expected to do, it varies from team to team. You'll have a right back at a different club where you're trying to defend and you're not adding to the attack because you don't want to get exposed. At Liverpool, your right back it's a different form of right back altogether. So I think in terms of what Liverpool want him to do, he's definitely world class at doing that job.
High intense,
And I think he's gonna end up. I'm nearly sure for underage Liverpool he played centre midfield. Yeah. And I'd be 99% sure. I'd be shocked if he didn't actually end up playing midfield for Liverpool.
For his later career, like he'll definitely become a pivotal in the midfield for them.
He's a sweet a boot on him, right foot on him since like Beckham coming up that time. He's such a ping of a ball. I actually love watching him.
If you look at some of the world class right backs we've had, we've Dani Alves. He wasn't the best defender, but you couldn't say he wasn't a world class right back.
His link up play with Messi and
this is like the three of us. There's no even need for discussion for this one. I don't think. I think everyone will agree.
This is world class.
Trent goes in world class. Like he's already won the European Champions.
Like Salah, like you wouldn't really expect Salah to defend, you see, because Salah wouldn't really have to defend at all. But the way he uses the line to find Salah as well, like it's always pinpoint accurate. Like his corners delivery, 9 times out of 10, professional football players can't even get it by the front post whipping a corner. But Trent will always put it either to Van Dijk, Matip, just someone dangerous that he can actually pick out a pass that. His quality.
He's as good as there is out there. Like maybe not at the minute right now, but 100% he's going to have a world class career.
Oh, definitely. I think he's already pretty much had world class. People are saying
he's world class already. In my opinion, he's world class already. That's
I know Liverpool, the rivalry and all that. But we're talking about quality here, and they have a player.
I'd argue with anyone. I'd argue with anyone all night. I'd have him as my right back in the world now, best right back in the world. I'd have him on my team. So he's doing it all the time.
Between him and Kimmich.
Kimmich, very good, very solid.
Kimmich is asked to play more of again as centre midfield.
Just I see more of Trent. Do you know what I mean? We wouldn't be watching Bundesliga week in, week out. I just watch Trent week in, week out. I love what he's all about.
Trent can make a difference even when he's playing bad with his passing. It's so good.
Right, so on to the next then, lads. Brandon Williams, Man United left back.
Brandon Williams.
I think Brandon Williams came on the scene because of injuries at left back. Kind of had no one really else, and I like that he is a true Man United pedigree player. Like, do you ever see him the way he kind of lunges in and challenges and gets up and squares up to the boys after? No fear in him whatsoever. I think obviously I don't think we've seen too much of him, but from what I've seen, don't know what you and the viewers think, but I think he will have a hugely successful career.
No, I don't agree with that. I
agree with Journeyman.
Yeah, I agree with Journeyman as well. And the only reason why is I think that Man United's reputation is going to kill him, because I think they're going to have to go out and buy the player that's a bit better. Yeah. I think, as you said there, he was basically a stopgap for whatever. They had injuries, he got his chance. Now, don't get me wrong, he's a good player, and I love the fighting him, and I love all that. You know what I mean? Getting up off the ground and giving it to lads. It shows no fear. But I just think what's going to catch him in the end is that United are going to be expected. They're going to be expected to go out and buy that 40, 50 million player that's going to come in and replace him, and he's going to go off to your whatever. Yeah, he's got. Journeyman would be where I put Brandon Williams now.
Yeah, as you said, I feel the same. Look, he's one of those players you want him to do well, because I love his attitude. I love that. And actually, I remember hearing a story about, I think his debut in the first team. He played a pre-season friendly, and I forget who it was that they played. But his first game, he put it up to the captain of the other team. He went head to head with him and all, and people were going like, "Who is this kid?" and you can see that on the pitch. And
No, but I'm not saying that he'll have a hugely successful career actually at United. I just think his career will be successful. Successful.
I just think
he doesn't have it at United. He won't have the hugely successful career. He's not going to go to your Man City or your Liverpool or your Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Real Madrid from United. I can't see that.
Yeah, no, I think if and when he leaves United, it's going to be a step below, and he might do well at a club and then maybe get a jump back up a little bit.
Yeah, the club like Southampton, maybe they were in for him and all. Around that kind of.
Do you know what?
He might have a decent career or a journeyman. He's got do you know what I mean? It's going to be up to himself. He definitely has the fight, determination.
Yeah.
I
think if United rated him that highly, they wouldn't have brought in Alex Telles.
Yeah, that's true. That is so true. Like, in fairness.
And especially when, like, Luke Shaw is now playing great football, but he wasn't until Telles arrived. So, if Brandon Williams, if he was that highly hyped and rated, and look, he did do very well.
I don't, like, he was asked to play out of position, though. You know what I'm saying? He's not really a natural left back. But suppose play right back, you can, so they say, you can actually play left back as well and throw you in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think in relation to the categories, it's decent to journeyman. I'd be going journeyman.
I think journeyman myself.
I agree with journeyman. John Flanagan, Brandon Williams could be a shout there. Similar enough career.
So are we going to go journeyman?
No, I see your points. I agree. I'm not going to overly argue as well, but. Because I haven't seen Brandon Williams enough to say, he's going to cement his thing. I just think we obviously bought Telles, and I know this kind of gone off topic a bit, but it's because of the contract situation at Porto. He was going on the cheap. Let's just get him.
Yeah, exactly. Look, before I move on to the next, I see a comment in there about Karamoko Dembele. I know it's not the Premier League, that's Celtic, but I've seen Dembele. I think I've seen Dembele when he was about 11 or 12. I started seeing videos of him. I know he's in the Celtic in there in the first team now. He looks a serious prospect. I don't know, lads, if you're aware of him, but can't see that lad staying at Celtic for too long.
There was loads of hype about him and loads of teams in for him for the last year, couple of transfer windows anyway, wasn't there?
Oh, he looks serious. Yeah. Serious player. Right, we've Kai Havertz next. So, Squidge, I'll let you start off with this one.
Kai Havertz is absolutely after wrecking my head, lad, since he came to Chelsea. Do you know what I mean? He's your marquee signing of the year. Frank Lampard, your greatest ever player, comes back, and his manager. Everything was looking up. Do you know, I was buzzing for the season. And Kai Havertz just hasn't shown up yet. But he had the coronavirus. Do you know what I mean? And I actually think Kai Havertz is going to end up with a highly successful career. He's only 21 years of age. He's played for Germany 10 times. You don't play for Germany 10 times. Like Germany, like they have class players coming through with Germany right now. He's 10 caps at 21 years of age. He's a rake at Castle Bar and Leverkusen before he came to Chelsea. He's their best player when he was 19, 20. He came over to a new city, a new club, new city when he's 21 years of age, and he gets coronavirus. I think, do you know what I mean? And even I was I only thought about this the other day. I was actually being too harsh on him as well. But I think he's going to end up with a highly successful career. And I can definitely see why people would say differently, because he's been absolutely useless since he came to the Premier League.
I cannot believe. I was looking forward to seeing him in the Premier League.
I was buzzing for him. I was absolutely buzzing for him. But I do think he's a quality player. I just think it's going to take another while. It's just unprecedented times. He's after coming where, he'd have no friends.
He's after coming at a transition where you sack one of your own as well. You're not sort of way. So the lad that banged him there, the manager that banged him there, sacked. But he's still.
But that as well. But he's after coming in a time where you can't he's after moving from Germany to England. He's no friends anyway. Let's say, other than maybe Timo Werner, who's German as well, maybe. But they can't even go and meet each other. Do you know, they can't even go over and play PlayStation in each other's house because of coronavirus and all this. So you're basically locked in a house other than go training at Chelsea. Then he gets coronavirus. He can't even go training. So I'd say actually an awful tough time for it since he's after.
But do you think he was played out of position though under Lampard as well though? In fairness, where he was playing him for Bayern Leverkusen to where he was starting at Chelsea, the comparison.
Maybe, but I think this comes back to the argument of why Lampard should or should not have got sacked. And I just don't think Lampard was up to it in that way. I think it was too soon. I think he might be up to it in the future, but I think it was just too soon for him now.
Where was he hold Havertz though?
You're not playing Kante. He wasn't playing Kante, the best defensive midfielder in the world, in my opinion, in the defensive midfielder role. Do you know? So
but I mean, it's off the field issues there. You're kind of more going on about than on the field. I think as you said there on the Lampard, he wasn't playing. I don't think he was played in the correct position. But in saying that though, I don't think he'll last in the Premier League. I just think he's going to turn around to his agent and say, "Look, get me out of here."
Yeah, I wasn't blaming.
It's unfortunate, but he's still young. He has still time to turn it around.
I'm a Chelsea fan. I'm going to be biased or whatever.
Yeah,
but just
you're going to back your own.
He's only 21 years of age.
Exactly. He's 21. He's second in England. But it's off the field issues there, like that. Do hamper how you play on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But Jesse Lingard has more goals than him already. That's saying something.
Yeah, look, Jesse Lingard is, I tell you, he's up and coming.
Oh, he's still the best under 21 player in the league, Jesse.
Yeah.
No, when it comes to Havertz, right, I think, do you know what? I think won't last in Premier League, and that doesn't necessarily say that a player is not going to be successful. I just think, I don't want to put him in hugely successful career because I want to actually use the category as well. I just think his price tag, first of all, has completely set him up to fail because I don't think unless Chelsea are, winning the league at least every second season, or are coming that close, I don't think that price tag is ever going to be justified. It's the same with Pepe at Arsenal. No matter what Pepe does, unless he's scoring a hat-trick pretty much every game, you're never gonna live up to that 72 million price tag.
Price tags are literally
from the get-go.
It's like a rainy cloud above players' heads.
That's it, and that's.
If I was a player though, I actually wouldn't worry about the price tag because I know I'm going to be sold. I know I'm going to be negotiated with. I'm going there. My main focus is to play football and the enjoyment of it. I'm not going to be worried about price tags and expectations. I know I'm sitting here talking to you guys. I didn't make it in football, but I'm just saying if things were different, I would never be worried about how much I got cost. I'd like to say I broke his bank. So that sort of way.
See, the problem is though, you as a player, you're not worried about, but it's everybody else is, and it's everyone else is talking, and then it's your manager that's under pressure.
These days as well, footballers, you can easily contact them. You know what I mean? You could just. But I don't know. I just think he won't make it in the Premier League.
It's a hard one to call. I can see why he can say he won't make it in the Premier League because I think he might just get fed up with himself and just want to go back to Germany, let's say. This is just one I actually had a good think about this one earlier, and I just put him in because maybe I'm hoping, I'd have no problem saying.
There is still time now.
It's only 21. One last in the Premiership. Will we put him there?
Yeah,
that's what I think. Yeah, that's what
I think. He will want out.
I think he's going to. If it was me, I put him into two categories. Then he won't last in the Premiership, but he will have a successful career. That's what I'd be thinking.
Yeah, well, hey, do you know what? Maybe we should do. Maybe the hugely successful career. We'll call that in the Premier League.
Yeah, do that. Okay, yeah. That's fair.
That'll be better, and then because won't last in the Premier League doesn't necessarily mean you won't have a successful career. It could be outside of the Premier League. And you see, look, plenty of players do it. Plenty of players it just doesn't work. And they go
I think he will. He'll move on from Chelsea. If it doesn't start coming right for him soon, he'll move from Chelsea because he was literally Bayer Leverkusen. He was the next big thing in Germany, and all of a sudden he's after coming to Chelsea now. I'd say he's after having a really bad year. So sorry, I'll be back in 1 second.
So we're going won't last then, yeah.
Won't last. It's unfortunate though. I actually wanted to see Kai Havertz do bits, just for why not?
Do you know what? It's that price
watch
tag.
Chelsea, see what the crack is with Kai Havertz.
That price tag, it kills players. It's not.
And as you said though, they might not be thinking about it, or they shouldn't really as well. But at the same time. His breakthrough season with Leverkusen, but his best consecutively, he was doing unreal in the Europa League with them as well.
Yeah, exactly. Just to answer Reece there, hugely successful, basically saying he won't be successful in the league, but there's one saying he won't stay in it. Yeah, so what we're saying for hugely successful, we're going to call that, to save confusion, we're going to call it hugely successful career within the Premier League. Won't last in Premier League. Could fall into different categories, maybe the guy just won't be good enough and won't make it, or else he won't make it in the Premier League, but it's not to say he won't go on and be successful outside of the Premier League. So just to clarify, won't last in the Premier League doesn't mean he's going to be rubbish and have a bad career, and will have a hugely successful career. Could be within the Premier League, we're going to call it, just to make it a bit handier. So next up, Ferran Torres, Man City. He wants to start at that one.
Ferran Torres brought in as a replacement for Leroy Sané. Not too much hype about him, but Valencia, them needing money and all, so they're willing to sell. He's up and coming, definitely. We've seen glimpses of him. He's been playing as a striker due to Aguero being injured. But stats-wise, this season he's going good. Like, from the minutes that he is getting playing. Just, he hasn't cemented himself in the starting lineup just of yet. But in saying that, I do think this player is good. That he is a good player.
I think he's going to have a hugely successful career for the simple reasons because he's with Man City. He's come in. He's 8 goals in 24 games for Man City, which is a really good return. And I noted like he was actually Aguero was injured. You know, there he was starting up front there for a few games and everything because they were just stuck for a striker. Like they were playing without an actual striker.
You ever see that goal? I think he wiggled his way back in and passed it across. I don't know who it was, just off the top of my head. I remember he just got the ball, done a few spins. I mean, he was going out for a corner. And I mean, lads, he kept the ball in and, like, don't know how he done it. But he just literally teed it up for, I think it was Sterling. Just to tap back.
The only thing that's going to stop him being hugely successful with Man City is the fact that they're probably going to go out and buy another better Ferran Torres, maybe.
Yeah, 100%. You know that kind of strength and depth. City always do it.
And that's it. Like,
Torres could go and score a hat-trick, but Ferran Torres could start next week.
That's it. Do you know what I mean? So it's hard to actually call. And plus, he's only 20 years of age. What is he? He's 20 years of age. Yeah. So like it's an awful hard one to call because I haven't seen a whole pile of them. Really, we haven't. I hadn't seen him play for Valencia. I think I've seen him once in the Champions League.
Yeah.
But other than that, I haven't really seen him play. I've been oddly, he's been decent since he came. I just think if he gets into the City team, he'll have a hugely successful career because they'll win titles.
But you could say that about Leroy Sané as well, though, couldn't you? I mean, with Guardiola, you just don't know what Guardiola. He's good. He's good at making players, but he's also ruining good players as well. Mm-hmm. So I put him down as if he stays at City and like he is very young and Guardiola I do think he will have a decent career. Yeah, Guardiola stays in the long run.
He'll definitely have a decent career. Yeah, I think it's whether he'll have a hugely successful career. I'd be in between. Yeah. Probably a decent career now because I haven't seen a whole pile of them.
I don't see him. He looks good. He's only 20. I just don't see him lasting in the Premier League. I don't think long term he'll stay. You know, sometimes with very few of the Spanish players, especially, you know, if Barca and Real come knocking, if they do really, really well, the Spanish players always find it hard to say no, going back to the big Spanish clubs. So I think if he does do really well, I could just see him going back to La Liga, maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're saying won't last in the Premiership?
Yeah, well, like you were saying, Squidge.
Won't last in the Premiership means, not that he won't be good enough for it, but just he'd go back.
I just don't know. I don't know if City will give him the chances because, look, every season they're looking for the new Ferran Torres. You know, like every season there's a new City.
There's a new kid on the block for City. They're always looking for
City aren't like Arsenal, for example, where we sign a Ferran Torres and we're looking at this guy being, you know, our starting player for the next 6-7 seasons, you know, that kind of a view. City are probably thinking, you know, we got him in, he costs us X amount, he's 20, you know, if we keep him till he's 24 and we double the money on him, I'm sure we bring in a new guy anyway, you know, and I'm sure he'll be happy enough. So I think, he's not going to hang about in the Premier League.
Right, I'd agree. I don't think he will hang around the Premier League. I just think, if he does stay with City, he'll win trophies. That's why he'll have a... But then will he be starting? Do you know what I mean? They're such top quality. Just see their bench against
Liverpool. The players that are there before him will be just like, you know, why am I starting?
Yeah, maybe.
But the way, like, City's wingers can play in midfield, no hassle at all. They're not sort of way, and up top. Guardiola has his players that can, he likes to have them in different formations and like.
Yeah, I think Ganto could be right here. Won't last in the Premier or won't last.
I think as well. Like in terms of a hugely successful career, again, I don't think having just for the sake of what we're doing here tonight, to break into categories, you can have a guy who's sitting on your bench in a successful team, but he's not really like a Shaqiri in that Liverpool team, for example. Yeah, okay, on paper has a successful career, but then when you look at the the game time and that, he has the medals and stuff, but it's not necessarily. It's a bit of a funny one, you know what I mean?
I know what you're saying. Yeah, if he's not
just
starting,
for a couple of minutes here and there to try and make.
You need to be playing. You need to be playing.
Yeah,
to be, you know what I mean? And even
right,
I think the top players that even want that themselves, they wouldn't think that a really successful career unless they're actually starting in games. That's what the big players do. Like.
Exactly. Like you can have a load of medals because you are sort of part of the squad.
Yeah.
But you didn't really play a part in the squad. Yes.
Right. So you think he won't last in the Premier League then? So.
I think he'll be gone. Anto's point there about if he does well at City, he'll go back to Real Madrid or Barcelona. And
weather, like all them Spanish players as well, like the weather is a big factor as well,
Right, so we have them in. We're moving here. We're moving along. Up the hour mark.
We've got a goalkeeper now. We got Ramsdale.
Aaron Ramsdale signed from his former club.
Journeyman.
100% journeyman. Like, but if we're saying that though, like they went.
What's going to happen? He might be lucky and get in with like an Everton or some, and stay there for a few years. I cannot see him moving around.
To be honest with you, lads, I put him in. He should apply for Tesco's because there's things like, especially the one comes to mind is Eze's goal against them. Like,
it's one goal.
It's not one goal. It's countless goals. They're muck. He's going to get relegated twice with them.
Let's go.
That lad, Aaron Ramsdale. Like, you couldn't count on him, and you need a goalkeeper in your team. You need a goalkeeper and a striker.
It shows you how good.
You literally can't.
Henderson was. It shows you
how good Henderson was. But what I'm trying to say is, the chap, he's not commanding. I wouldn't trust him even to go out and catch a ball. He can't catch a cold. He'd break my back if I went up and lead for a ball, and he'd come out behind me. I just think
I won't argue with you. I'll give you. I'll give you this one. Yeah.
Are we sending them off to Tesco? Are we
sending them off to Tesco?
Ooh, we had to send somebody.
Sorry, Ramsdale.
Sorry, Ramsdale. But look, he's a goalkeeper. He'd be good at packing bags.
100%. Marcus Rashford out there and getting a few tips.
Marcus Rashford up next. Right, go, Colin.
Oh, Rashford, boys! I'm telling you now, my favourite player in United at this moment.
This will be an easy one.
Just the chap's only 2 days older than me, like, that sort of way, and he's living my dream. Like, being a footballer, playing for Newcastle when you're younger, you always, think you'd be able to make it, like, and get scouted and all. But this guy, off the pitch and on the pitch, is just true sensational character. So humble, dedicated to the club. He already has the same amount of goals as David Beckham. Like, I honestly think if Man United and Marcus Rashford, like, we go on, hopefully, to have be world class. Like, not hopefully world class. He will be world class, but hopefully win us titles again. Bring the Premiership back to United.
Yeah, I already think he is world class.
I think he is world class as well. I just think he needs that bit of his game that's missing is the dropping back and the kind of chasing back. Sometimes he looks like he just doesn't. Not that he doesn't care, but sometimes he's just not bothered to do himself and Martial. They just don't.
Especially Martial now.
Yeah, but I think Rashford, especially Martial, but Rashford, he doesn't have the work rate required to step him up that next level. I do think he's world class. I'll definitely have him up there beside Trent.
Yeah.
But I think to turn into that world beater, the next level again. I think his all around game needs to improve. As in, he's finishing first of all because he gets into good chances and he doesn't finish an awful lot of them.
Yeah,
he
doesn't score the easy goals.
Yeah, he has a power of goals. All right. How many goals does he feel?
Well, the Champions League, he made 6 goals, 6 appearances.
Yeah, don't get me wrong.
He's 167 appearances in the league, 53 goals, 27 assists. You know, I remember him coming on the scene as if it was yesterday against Vigilant. And, you know, he literally only got playing because Martial was injured and all the strikers was injured. And he went on. And then the weekend, then he successfully scored a brace against Arsenal. So it properly kicked off his career for us.
Oh, look, he's 23 years of age. He's 253 appearances for United.
I think he'll be a one-man club as well, like, you know. I can't see him go anywhere else.
Look, there's no way he goes anywhere else in this list, and that's other than world class. That's will become world class.
I think that's fair. That's
he's a joy to watch, isn't he?
Yeah,
100%. I just think if he wants to stay world class and even up it to the next level, he needs to what I seen from in the comments there was Ryan M. composure. He needs his work rate. I think if he works on the two of them, he'll stay up in the world class for the rest of his career.
Yeah, but look,
it's strain for a player like when you know he can finish.
Misses too. He's like Raheem Sterling in a way. They miss too many easy chances. It's not these one-on-ones where they just hit them straight at the keeper.
I remember when Martial got his first hat-trick for the club against Sheffield, and it was the first player to score a hat-trick, and God knows how long for us. But I remember when Rashford done all the hard part, weaving through the players, and he tried to lay it on a plate for Martial, and it literally just went out of play, and I was just nearly smashed the TV, thinking, you can score the wonder goals, but by God, you can't just run the ball into the back of the net.
That's the need to be able to score them tap-ins as well. It's
it's so frustrating. It actually is. It would. It'd wreck your head.
Yeah, that's just but he's definitely in relation to this list. He's definitely up there. He's only 23. Yeah. He's class.
Will become world class. Fact.
Yeah, no, definitely. Look, I'd have him up there as world class just for the good work he does outside of football as well. Do you know what I mean? But no, he's got scary potential like that. Okay, he needs to work on the composure and stuff like that. But for a guy to already have that many appearances, that many goals, the players don't come into their prime until they're about 27, 28. You know, he's only going to get better.
Yeah, he's definitely.
And you know, something United do play him a lot, even through injuries and stuff like that. There's sometimes I'm looking at him and thinking, should we take him off in the 55th minute or 60th minute? Why not? But players like that will make a difference. Do you know? So it is hard taking Rashford off.
Definitely.
It's an easy decision for us, that one, 100%.
Yeah, right. So Wan-Bissaka up next.
Tesco's.
Wan-Bissaka, right? I'm gonna say will have a hugely successful career. As in, I think he's going to be a mainstay. I think at United for the foreseeable future. I can't see him going. You know, I can't see him going up any higher. But I think he will be United's first choice right back for a long, long time. You know, okay, I don't know about winning league titles, but look, I think United are going to have success. And again, I don't think a successful career is only about winning trophies and winning medals. You know, you could have a successful career, you know, being the number one in a top side that's challenging, you know, for 10 years. That to me would be a successful career. So I think he'd be successful.
I just think in the modern day fullback as well, like you compare him to Trent, he's a better defender than Trent. But he's not a better passer. He's not like whipping the ball in, like attacking wise. He's nowhere near like that for Trent. But he just shows why he's so different to Trent in terms of like, if he goes forward and comes back, he'll be able to make a tackle in behind, take the ball and the player. And it's actually unreal to see his slide tackles and his technique and sliding. He had Mbappe in his pocket in the Champions League. He had Sterling. He's all these like. He's the best one-on-one defender in the league. Hands down, best one-on-one defender in the league.
He's probably the best one-on-one defender in the league. Hugely successful career. I think it's going to be a bit of a stretch for him, boys, to tell you the truth, in my opinion. I think decent career is where I put him.
I just think it's only a matter of time for United's building something before we try to truly lift that Premier League title, because it's so hard to compete with Liverpool and City and stuff like that. But, yeah. He will become world class if he improves his attacking attributes. That's the only reason. And I think Ollie's made him aware of that as well. Like, you know, the players are asking of him to attack more, offer more of a threat.
Yeah,
he's not. We can agree he's not going to become world class.
I love him. Like, I actually really like him.
Do you know what? I don't think world class for the simple reason. I don't think he's ever. I don't think he'll ever take the right back position from Alexander-Arnold, and if he can't do that, he can't really become world class.
Yeah, right. So he's not. Look, he's not going to work at Tesco. He's not going to be a journeyman because I think he will stay at United for a good while.
He's definitely brought in for long term.
He will last. It's between decent and hugely successful career. And look, as we said in the last one, you don't necessarily need to win titles to have a hugely successful career.
Yeah,
which I don't think he's going to do with United. I don't think he is going to win the titles because I just think City, especially City, and not Liverpool this year, but I think Liverpool as well. I think they're just a bit ahead of United, like a good bit ahead.
Yeah.
If it was up to me, I'd have him at decent, but I can see why you want to put him at highly successful.
Doesn't matter, Reece. We'll win it before you, anyways. 100%. You can spend 200 million every summer, but we'll win it before you.
So what are we saying? Hugely successful career.
Yeah.
The two of you.
Anyone that says Wan-Bissaka is going to have a decent career, it's they're not wrong either. But he's with United. He stepped up from Crystal Palace. You know what I mean?
I like it. If he was at Crystal Palace, he would have been a journeyman, or he would have went around the place. He's gone to United now.
He played with 40 million in total, like 35 plus 5 million.
He's good. Look, he's a good defender. He's probably as you said, he's probably one of the best one-on-one defenders in the league. Yeah. But there's a lot of elements come into place to be a hugely successful career.
Yeah, but at the same time,
100%.
Yeah,
I actually don't mind. I agree with this. He will have a successful career.
Like we said as well, like
hugely class is like you have to have everything. Like.
Yeah, hugely successful doesn't have to be trophies and medals and stuff like.
Yeah, I know, and I agree with that.
Like he stepped up from Crystal Palace to United. It was a big price tag, especially at the time, and he hasn't looked out of place. So I
just seems to be lagging there, Anthony, whatever technical difficulties are going through there. Squidger, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you okay, Carl. Yeah, no, I completely agree. I'd have no problem putting him in there. I don't like United, but I try not to be biased or whatever. But
yeah, that's very hard of you now. I can tell it's very hard.
My honest opinion would be decent career, but I can 100% see why you would put him in the hugely successful career, and it's going on not as what Anthony said there. It's not about winning titles. He is probably the best one-on-one defender in the league, and if he stays doing that over the rest of his career, then he just probably deserves.
That's what I'm saying. I think he's the flip side of Trent, though, in terms of the natural modern day fullback. Like
as someone said in the comments there, who was if you had a mixture of Trent and Wan-Bissaka into one player, you'd have the perfect fullback.
You'd have 100%.
You couldn't disagree with that one.
Yeah, so we move on.
Welcome back, Anthony. There, how's it going?
Oh, lads, I heard a big gust of wind there, and everything just went, and I was sitting there going, "Oh, here we go." I bloody predicted this one. If only I could predict the correct scores at the weekend. I predict everything that's gone wrong.
We'll move on from Wan-Bissaka, Anthony. We've agreed that he's a hugely successful career.
We put him in.
We
agreed to disagree.
Which I can't really get my head around, but we'll move on.
We'll move on.
All right, lads. There's your next one. Declan Rice now.
Declan Rice. Oh, where they put him in there?
I want to put him in Tesco for what he did to Ireland.
I rage when I feel with Declan Rice.
I think decent career.
I think journeyman.
I think he's a bit better than journeyman.
Yeah, the reason being is I think to get him out of West Ham at this moment in time, you're going to have to spend a lot of money on him.
Chelsea have been really keen on him the last couple of years, and and I don't really look what he did to Ireland and all that. You just need to leave that behind. But it's I rate him. I rate him as a really good player. I think he's what he does at West Ham. He's really solid. He's in the kind of enforcer around the middle of the park. He kind of he does everything in the middle of the park.
Yeah.
Journeyman or decent player is where I'd be looking at here for Declan Rice. I can't ever see him have a hugely successful career. I don't think even if he does go to Chelsea, will he
Do you think he'll make the Euro squad?
Yes.
If West Ham, just say if West Ham make a European spot,
I think he'll make it. I think he'll make the Euro squad. Anyway, because I think England are seriously lacking in that position. Like if you look at like if the likes of Jordan Henderson to be in that position, he's playing centre back most of the season. Do you know? It's like I think Declan Rice he definitely get into the Euro squad. But in terms of this, I think definitely journeyman or decent career, and I think decent career. I think he's gonna. If he goes to Chelsea, he might or if he goes to a club like Chelsea, let's say Chelsea are looking at him, he might last a couple of years there, but then Chelsea go in and buy again bigger and better. That's just.
I actually to be honest, I think I see him as a future captain at some club. I really do. I think
if he stays at West Ham,
attributes. Like I'd have him at United. I think if we had Declan Rice in there, solidifying the centre defence midfield position, 100% we'd be going places. But I think he will be. No. Yeah, he'll have a decent career if he does move to a top 6 club.
Yeah. I don't think he deserves journeyman status. I think he has definitely potential to be have a decent career.
The reason I'm thinking journeyman is because he's a good player. But to me, I just have a feeling he's going to be one of those big player, like big fish in a small pond kind of players. I don't know would he integrate into a side like Chelsea, and I could be totally wrong.
Let's say if he's like big fish,
they're all monitoring. All the top 6 are monitoring. 100%.
If he's big fish, small pond, then that's a decent career. Do you know what I mean? It's not.
He's an outstanding player. There's no reason why he won't have a decent career. I think he has all the stepping stones there.
If he stays at West Ham, he's going to be there. Let's say if he stays at West Ham, he's going to be
the next Mark Noble, 100%.
But I don't think he'll stay at West Ham though. This is the thing. This is why I think journeyman because I think he's inevitably going to leave West Ham. But I just think he's obviously going to step up from West Ham, someone like Chelsea or whatever. I don't think he's going to live up to the hype wherever he goes, and that always means you move on and you're going to take a step down. When you take a step up, it's very hard to step up again. If you're going to one of the top.
I just think he has it though, Anthony. I actually do. I think he's that.
I think he's a right good player as well. I think at the very least, I'd be putting him a decent career. At the very least. Yeah.
Cool. We go decent.
Yeah.
He's already 13 appearances for England.
True that already. Actually,
should be for Ireland. Should be.
He's 22 appearances for Ireland as well.
Right, lads. Next up.
The bay for another day.
Take it away.
Pulisic, right. Pulisic, world class, without a doubt in my mind. Without a doubt. He's the best player in America now at the minute, and you can say, America's not the best, but he's like the next golden boy of the American soccer team. He went to Borussia Dortmund, lit it up over in Dortmund. We signed him. He came. He lit it up. The only thing that will stop him being world class is his injuries, because he seems a bit soft. Anytime he gets touched, he seems to he has to come off the pitch or something, and which is why I don't like, because he's absolutely terrifying. He's frightening when he's on form. He's our best player when he's playing well. Too injury prone for world class, but if there's no injuries, he's definitely world class. I have to put Pulisic in world class, but when he's on the pitch, he is deadly. He's brilliant.
I can't put him in world class.
No,
because I honestly do think the hype about him is real. It's good. It's nothing but good. It's nothing but looking good for him. Like we've seen glimpses of him playing injury free. Like he can make bits, defenders, balls over the top, running behind. Dribble is very good. He's very
boys. I'm telling you, if it wasn't for it's not for the injuries.
Yeah, true. It's not for the injuries, and it's how he's nurtured at Chelsea right now. Like no one right now at Chelsea, I don't think is probably guaranteed to start the spot. Would you agree with me, Squidge?
No one. Mason Mount. That's only in my opinion. He's the only one who should be guaranteed, because he's the only one who gives everything every week. Other than that, Kovacic is playing really well since Tuchel came in. But off the point, that's gonna.
So Pulis said 40 appearances, right? 10 goals, 5 assists from what we've seen from so far. And he can play on the left, he can play on the right.
He's,
I actually do. I think he'll have a hugely successful career.
If you want to put him in the hugely successful career, I'm happy enough with that. In my opinion, if he stays injury free, he will be world class. That's what I think. Man.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. Is he likely to stay injury free to fulfill?
Probably not. From what I've seen from him, it wrecks my head, boys. Because and like you do see the tackle he gets, and when it goes to the replay, it looks like he barely got tipped, and then he's off and he's out for 3 weeks, and you're thinking, how is he out for 3 weeks from that? He barely got touched, and then he comes back and he puts in a man of the match performance, and then 2-3 games later he gets a little tip again. He's out again for another 2 weeks. You're just like, what's going on? Like when he's on the pitch.
To wrap it up, like if he stays injury free, you think he'll become world class. Myself and Anto, I think he'll have a hugely successful career.
I don't know. If I didn't support Chelsea, I definitely put him in the hugely successful career.
I see where you're going with that 100%.
Yeah, Carl, I would agree with you. I think very, very good player, great potential. I don't think he's going to hit the heights of world class.
It's because of the Premier League, though. He's going to get paid. He's going to get taxed.
That's it. He's just not. He's just a bit too soft for the Premier League.
Yeah. And look, I think he has the potential. I just don't think he's going to hit it. I think injuries and whatever else.
If he stays injury free, he will be world class. That's a fact, in my opinion. It's like that's 100%. Right. But I don't think he will stay injury free.
Yeah.
But I had to put him in world class because when he's on the pitch, he is class.
Yeah.
That's true. Okay, I'm happy enough to even put him on the category below him. Sorry, we'll have a usually successful.
Yeah. At the very least, boys, I appreciate that. He has to be. There's no other option he could go in. He's class.
Right, boys, next up, I'm going to throw all these up on screen. So, again, if we can't see them, at least people know what it is we're talking about. So, that's your next one there, Richarlison, Everton.
I found it hard to believe, as we talked about at the start, 23 years of age.
Yeah.
He's 23 games already played for Brazil, 8 goals scored. He won the Copa America with them. I don't know. He was at Watford, wasn't it? Everton bought him off Watford.
50 million.
Look, I think he'd have a decent career, no more than that. I
think his attitude, like,
it's just a hard
thing about him, right? He could have where he grew up in Brazil, like kind of same as most Brazilians, but where he grew up, he either could have been in a gang or football, and he chose football life, and he made. Like, I think he has, like, stepping up from Watford, 50 million. You know what I mean? Again, there's a player. I don't think he's thinking like, right, I'm 50 million worth to Everton. But
I don't think you could just see one of the comments there. Sorry for cutting across the call. Like,
no, you're fine,
won't last in the Premier League. Like he was in the Premier League with Watford, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And then he's been with Everton for how long?
He must be there.
He must be there now.
2 seasons now.
So he's kind of already lasted in the Premier League. In my opinion, he's if he moves.
I think Everton. I think they made him a long-term investment. Again, like, I think he has the fire in his belly to actually make it big. But again, I can't see. I don't.
He hasn't been playing as well the last season. When he came to Everton first, and he was kind of the main man. He was like really, really, really good, and you think the world is his oyster. Yeah. He's still been playing well. Don't get me wrong, but he hasn't been playing as well. Do you know what I mean? He hasn't been lighting it up week in, week out.
As prolific as he was before Everton signed him.
But he's still he's a decent player.
You know what I noticed though about Everton and Everton players. This goes for Gylfi Sigurdsson as well. I know he's not in this conversation at all, but you're always hearing about players' price tags and that, at the clubs like Chelsea, United, Liverpool, Arsenal, whatever. You're never hearing about Richarlison costing 50 million and Sigurdsson 50 million. You did at the start, but now whether they're good, bad, indifferent, that price tag is never really thrown out there, and I think that's definitely going to stand.
It would never Everton will never be slated for actually buying a player for that.
Yeah, I think that's going.
But I just don't think they come into the conversation because you just don't think it. Like you just think that the big club is buying the big players for the big money. When Everton do it, you just think, oh, it's forgotten about after.
I'd say at one point it wouldn't surprise me before Richarlison went to Everton. I'd say it wouldn't surprise me if Barcelona were interested in him at the time, just because young Brazilian, up and coming. Like for me, I think he'll have a decent career. Is that hard to say? It is.
Decent. You could put him in. Like I don't think you can put him in. He won't last the Premiership because I think he already has lasted in the Premiership to an extent.
Yeah.
Will become a journeyman. I think he's just a little bit. I think a decent was where I.
I think he's young now.
He's 23, boys as well. I thought he was about 26, 27.
Yeah. But that's when he was so young when he first signed for Everton, wasn't he? Like 21 or something.
And the fact he's 23 games played for Brazil. Now I know at this day and age it's not Brazil's golden era by any stretch of the imagination. But still, like any player who plays for Brazil 23 times has to be decent. And he's 8 goals for them, so it's one in every 3. Which isn't a bad return. Maybe not for Brazil. Brazil people wouldn't say it's a good return, but it's not bad. But
I think
decent career. Decent career.
See that one, maybe just to clarify about journeyman. Look, not necessarily. Like I guess you could call Nicolas Anelka a journeyman, and he won a lot of trophies. It's just someone that kind of bounces around a load of clubs and never really stays too long. I guess would be journeyman.
Like 6 months here, 6 months.
Yeah, at the same time,
it never finds a home.
Yeah, it could be a guy that either has success or doesn't have success, but he's constantly kind of on the move. Anelka, I think it's the best example that comes to my mind there.
Yeah,
he won so much in his career.
For any viewers that are watching as well, give the Nicolas Anelka documentary that's on Netflix. Give that a watch. You realise
it's on my list.
So what are we saying? Are we saying decent career for Richarlison?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair. Yeah, for Ancelotti as well. Like he wants to do something for Everton. Like he's not gonna. I know he didn't buy him, but he's not gonna come into Everton and think that there's not players in that current squad that he can't get a European place for.
Yeah. Right, there you go, lads. Charlie Gilmore up next.
Billy Gilmore. Billy. You said Charlie.
Charlie Gilmore.
Disrespect my favourite young player on the list. Again, twice. I let it go the first time.
Do you know who I'm thinking of? We had a
Charlie Sheen.
Charlie Gilmore in the Arsenal Academy. There you go. Is that better? Billy Charlie.
Right. Squid, I'll let you take it away on that one.
Boys, he's actually my favourite up and coming player, but he's played so little. It's so hard to actually call. From what I see, he made his debut or FA Cup, played against Liverpool, man in the match. Played the next week in the Premier League against Everton, or maybe vice versa, man in the match. The young lad, he just seems to have.
Signed from Rangers for 500,000, and
and then he was going back to Rangers. Look, he's only 19 years of age.
What I love about him is his height. That's what I'm saying. Height in football, it doesn't actually doesn't matter. When you have it with your feet, the ball is played with your feet. And I'm telling you now, he's one of the most exciting players I'm excited about.
I agree with you. I'm so excited about him. But he's only made 18 appearances for Chelsea, so it's so hard. I can't turn around now and say Billy Gilmore is going to have a hugely successful career. Or he's a world-class talent. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But what I can tell you is, I don't even know if there'll be space in this category, but, he had an injury that's kind of it's not significant or major, but it has kept him out of the team when he was in form. So you kind of under Lampard especially, he definitely will be playing with Mount a lot more.
Yeah, it's
I just think a bargain for his money, one for the future. Chelsea was done a great work in him.
He's the player I'm most excited about. Obviously not the players that broke onto the scene at Chelsea now, your Mason Mounts and your Hudson-Odoi or whatever.
Yeah.
But he's the player I'm most excited about that's had the couple of appearances here and there.
Honestly, and I know we've seen very little of him, but I actually do think he'll have a hugely successful career. I actually do.
Yeah, I think he will as well. I think he's going to be that good. But it's awful hard calling after what we've seen, like so little we've seen from.
But sometimes Squidge and Anton as well. Like sometimes you just know, like.
Right, I'll agree with. I don't often agree with a United fan, but I agree with you here. Sometimes you just know, and I think I don't write a whole pile up on Facebook, but I took to Facebook a couple of weeks ago and I said I'm looking forward. I see Billy Gilmore was starting in the Barnsley game. Like I actually took to Facebook over it. Like that. This is how excited I am of this player. So
it's great for the club, like, isn't it? Like to have a player that you just like come on. Like.
I don't think he's going to be as good as Charlie Gilmore now, to be fair, but I think he'd be hugely successful. Yeah,
Charlie Gilmore now. He works in Tesco's. God love him. Like, 24 hours a week. My God, this COVID thing is really getting to him.
And that's if he
Charlie Love, McPhee,
Billy Love have a job in Tesco's from Charlie if things go wrong.
Right, so what are we saying? Are we saying, look, do you reckon, Squidge, will he get his chances under Thomas Tuchel?
I was going to bring up that point actually, Anton. Cheers for excuse me, sorry for cursing. I was going to bring up that point that actually the money might be his downfall at Chelsea, and like the expectancy of success, the expectation of success at Chelsea might be Billy Gilmore's downfall at Chelsea because. Billy Gilmore mightn't get the chance he deserves, or I think he deserves, and we're like the fans we're this mega rich team, we're expected to spend money, so we have to go out and sign a player for 40-50 million that plays in Billy Gilmore's position. Then because we signed him for 40-50 million, he's expected to start, even though Billy Gilmore should be starting, and that's why he mightn't get that, but. I think if things fall rightly into place for Billy Gilmore, he's definitely going places. Hopefully, and I actually love him that much that even if it's not Chelsea, I still hope he has a hugely successful career.
Would it be fair? Would it be fair maybe to call it decent career then? Because you know he's going to be good somewhere. Will it be at the?
As I said, it's sometimes you just know.
At the start, I was leaning towards a decent career because I hadn't seen a whole pile of them. I think he is going to have a really good career.
He's definitely not going to work in Tesco's or end up working there whatsoever.
No, Charlie.
You know, he's not going to get paid when cans in Linden Village and Heinz beans.
No.
Right, so what are we saying, Squidge? I'm going to leave this to you because you know a hell of a lot.
I don't think you should leave it to me. You know where I want to put him. Look. I'm going to be fair. Right? He's one of my favourite young players coming through. I'm going to be fair. And what I had down on the sheet and paper in front of me before I come on doing the video tonight was he's going to have a decent career. Because, just for the simple reason is because he's only had it's been such a short career so far, and will the Chelsea money swallow him up, and will he have to go somewhere? But I think no matter what club he goes to, as long as he's playing, he's going to be a class act, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's true.
Right, so you going hugely successful?
No, decent.
Okay.
Yeah, go on now, and I'm trying to be fair to you. Remember this now. Remember this in the future arguments we're having. How fair I was. All the time.
You won't be forgotten. Don't you worry.
No better squidge.
No better squidge.
Squidgy. Alright, so this one. Look, right. I guess I'll start this one off then. Arsenal player. Look, I'll be honest. Good player. I don't think he's going to have a hugely successful career, if I'm being completely blunt. I actually think, I want to say he's going to have a decent career, but I'm actually going to put him in the category of won't last in the Premier League, because I don't think he's going to get that much success with Arsenal, and I do think eventually outside the Premier League will be his next destination. So for me, I think the fairest I can say about Gabriel, I really rate him. I think he's a good player. Just don't think long term. I don't think Premier League long term for him.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, like he was brought in not with big expectation, but he was brought in because he's needed reinforcements at the back. Like it was clear to see he's needed some sort of centre back partnership quick, and you need something to solidify. Like I think from what I've seen him, that like he will. I think he has the attributes there to become a better baller.
Yeah,
I haven't seen much wrong of him, to be honest with you.
Why wasn't he starting against Man City? Or
yeah, I was literally.
Why was Pablo Marie and Holden starting
big games like that?
It's because he's sort of only coming back into the side. They're not really rushing him. He was out for a while with COVID and injuries and stuff. He's kind of been eased back, and like that with so many games in succession. You know, we've still that Benfica game. Our season at this stage is nearly relying on how we do in the Europa League. And I'll be honest, I think Arteta sort of looked at that City game and like that coming out losing 1-0. I don't think he's overly upset. You know, I think he was just putting a team out there that was on paper going to be somewhat competitive, but I don't think the result really.
Because I think was it that kind of team, Pablo Mari, you know, like they bet Chelsea.
Yeah, but Pablo Marie, like that team he played the other day, like I said, on paper looks competitive, but when you weigh up, you know, the reality of the situation is Kieran Tierney's only back from an injury, Pablo Marie's only back from an injury, Rob Holding has been rested for a couple of games. You know, there was players like that in the team. El Neni hasn't been playing a lot lately. So on paper, it looked, I'm not saying it's a good team, I'm just saying it looked like he made an effort to make it competitive, but I definitely think he was just throwing players out there to give them a few minutes. But I don't think he was sticking lads out.
What was in the region? Was it big money? It probably wasn't a large fee, like, but
what for Gabriel? Well, see, one of the reasons as well, I don't think Gabriel is going to last in the Premier League is I think the model that Arsenal have now, the self-sustaining model. I think we brought him in. I think it was about 23 million, or actually could be 27 million, I think it was. But I think Arsenal's idea now is to get guys in before they become a bigger name, get them in for a certain fee with a view to selling them on in the future. Like if we could double our money, I think Arsenal are going to be happy to do so. You know, I think that's the approach we're adopting now. And I just don't see him hanging about in the Premier League.
I haven't seen really enough of him either, to be honest.
Exactly. I haven't seen too much. Like I think I've watched him play once, maybe twice. I haven't seen him really at all. I have to leave this one up to you, Anton, to tell you the truth, because I wouldn't know a whole pile about him.
Yeah, no, look, I think, as I said, I think he's a good player, has a lot of potential. I think will be good, and like I want to give him a decent career, but just because I have the option there, I won't last in Premier League. I just don't think. I do think that the Arsenal model now is going to be we're going to look to move these guys on in a couple of years. You know, get a bit out of them, develop them, and sell.
Yeah, if even lad, to be honest with you, I think that even if they break even on them, that's a serious bit of business as well. Like to be fair.
Well, I think already you could sell him in the morning and you're going to make a profit already. You know, and I think he's only going to get better the more established.
It's very hard to lose money on decent young lads these days because sell-on value is always going to be so high.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying for the not the fact that he's not going to be good enough to stay in the Premier League. I just think with Arsenal's plans for him, I think we will look to eventually sell. He will eventually look to move on. I just don't see him staying in England. I just have a feeling it's kind of an easy argument to say, he's the weather all that. I just think, he probably will look to go probably La Liga or something like that, or Italy.
Yeah, somewhere less physically, you know, that sort of way, like.
Yeah. So journeyman, then is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying won't last in Premier League.
Or won't sorry. Won't last in Premier League.
So happy with that one?
Look, as I told you, I'd leave that one up to yourself there now, because I actually just wouldn't. He's one of the players on the list I wouldn't have a clue about.
Right, there's the next one. So, Eze, Crystal Palace.
They finally got their man. They were actually mad for this guy over from QPR, this Eze guy. You know, it's like a former, like an attacking winger.
Yeah.
So they say I haven't followed him like in the championship last season when he was playing for QPR. But from what I've heard and what I've seen, especially the game as I slated Aaron Ramsdale's for Crystal Palace against Sheffield earlier on the season, like Eze, he's up and coming. First of all, there's there's no. I see an awful lot of good about him. I think he wants to take players on. He wants to get Palace up the field more. He definitely offers a lot, but he's not as Wilfred Zaha and what Wilfred Zaha does consistently.
Could he end up being a Wilfred Zaha though? He's only young, like.
Yeah, I think if he works hard, stays humble, he doesn't let outer factors like the outside world come into play. He's committed to Crystal Palace and he's committed to staying in the Premier League. I don't see any other clubs like wanting to buy him at this moment in time either. It's a hard one to call, Eze, though.
It's a really, really, really hard one to call because he's definitely too good for Crystal Palace. But is he good enough for your Man Cities, your Liverpools, your Uniteds, your Chelseas?
Yeah. Well, look, you can rule out the Tesco one because he's already avoided that. Released by Arsenal at the age of 13, came back and made a career for himself. Ended up
worked in Tesco.
Probably already worked in Tesco.
And then came back.
Yeah. Again, I see a lot of potential in him. I don't think he's going to hit the heights of like a Man City, Liverpool, United kind of move. I'm thinking journeyman. I'm thinking he might get a move somewhere. I just don't think he's going to live up to the potential. I don't think he'll live up to the hype.
He's another player. I think,
right? He could possibly get relegated with a club. He could become a journeyman in terms of that. Yeah.
Yeah, because let's say for example, if Palace even just avoid the drop, and a big side doesn't come in for him, especially if he stays at Palace a couple of seasons, he gets that little bit older. And if Palace decide to do Wilfred Zaha and Price,
exactly. Palace hold on to lads as well. They stand firm in the market. You know what I mean? We've seen it with Zaha.
And you know what? This is a little bit off topic, but that's what's hurting Palace. This is why Palace aren't improving as a team because they're not selling. And I know it's probably sounds stupid to say you sell your best assets, but if you're getting an offer of like 60 million or whatever Arsenal were willing to pay,
that's huge money for Crystal Palace. Huge.
Like imagine you reinvested that into your team. Like there's not an awful lot coming through there, Palace. So I think they need to reevaluate the way they're doing stuff and structure because you can see little by little they're slowly. I can see them getting relegated over the next maybe 2-3 seasons.
Yeah. I think the decline in them as well. Like. Yeah, very boring spots. I don't know what the result is tonight against Brighton. So, for any viewers out there, throw it up there for me, for us lads. But
with these players who we've only seen for so little of, it's so hard to actually put them up on a chart like this.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Because they could end up absolutely anywhere. Obviously, it's not going to end up working at Tesco's. But they could end up other than that, they could actually end up anywhere on that list.
Yeah,
like Eze,
that category of players, though, as I said earlier. Like, do you know where, like, for example, like Crystal Palace looks set to be relegated, but under Roy Hudson, you never know what he could do because he's done it before so many times. He's kept teams up.
Well, they won't be getting relegated.
The reason why I think he'd become a journeyman is because if they do relegated, and a club they look at it and think, right, he's too good for the Championship. He's definitely he has shown glimpses. Let's take a gamble on. And it's vice versa. That club that he goes to next could possibly get relegated again, and then that's the only reason why I'm thinking he could be a journeyman. I'm not doubting his potential.
Yeah.
If you're looking at the players that we already have in the will have a decent career category, you couldn't really add Eze to that, could you?
I don't think so.
If you take Billy Gilmore out there now, maybe because Billy Gilmore is maybe a bit of a future call, let's say.
Yeah.
From what I've seen, but if you have Billy Gilmore and Eze, if Billy Gilmore's in there, Eze nearly deserves to be in there. But if you take Billy Gilmore out of there, then Eze doesn't deserve to be in there. Do you get what I'm saying?
Maybe Gilmore has a little bit of a head start because he's at a club like Chelsea, where Eze is at a club like Palace, and like Cahill made a great point there. Let's say Palace do go down or just avoid the drop. Sometimes you say to yourself, let's say Palace get relegated, and you're saying to yourself, all the big sides are going to be in for Eze here. It doesn't always work like that. You might get the newly promoted side might go, do you know what? We'll put in a bid for this lad, and then he could have the next couple of seasons where he's at a club that are they're to survive, and then suddenly he moves on again. Like, if he gets two moves or whatever, he's at Palace now, and then if he gets another move to another club like that, again, the older he's getting, chances are he's not going to a big club. He's probably just going to keep hopping around the league, clubs of that.
I did hear his name pop up around a few times last year for QPR. It's definitely just on that corner for them. But we'll agree on putting him as a journeyman.
I good journeyman, yeah.
I think that's fair. Like,
he has serious potential to not be a journeyman, but it's what it's looking like now at the minute. Well, it's not. Yeah, it's a tough one to call, that one now. Is it? Ruben Neves.
All tough. Ruben Neves.
Wow. Ruben Neves. Hearing this name,
I thought this was the under 23s, not the under 35s.
Yeah, I was shocked.
Like he made that stat that he broke Ronaldo's record for the youngest Portuguese Champions League player.
Yeah.
Porto. I know it's irrelevant now. We're talking about the Premier League and stuff, but like how Wolves managed to secure his signature in the Championship is something that I think it's a scandal.
The agent.
There has to be something wrong with that transfer.
Nuno Espirito Santo's agent is Jorge Mendes, and the reason that Jorge Mendes the first ever player that Jorge Mendes had as an agent, or the first ever player that Jorge had when he was an agent, was Nuno Espirito Santos when he was goalkeeper for Porto. They met in a pub. So he obviously has a fondness for Espirito Santo, and like he's obviously going to be throwing in players here and there. That's why I think these boys are going to Wolves now. Your Ruben Neves and stuff like that.
But doesn't Mendes? There was something. Do you remember there was an investigation done into it that Mendes was supposed to be covering part of the transfer fees for a lot of these Portuguese.
All these, I'm telling you, they're good friends.
He has some kind of like a shareholder type of thing going on. I don't know whether it's official. There's something going on because there was some. They were looking into something a while ago,
which is completely wrong if that's the case. Like,
but that's why these boys are ending up there.
You'd be shocked to leave. Like he got player of the season, and it was that season. I think it was like when he got promoted. But he has 10 goals in the Premier League. He's 97 appearances for in the Premier League, and he's 6 assists. But he's also known as that flair player that comes up with like it could be a free kick, or it could be like on the volley, half volley bounce outside the box, that type of thing. Like for a player, he doesn't look his age, but that's not to say he's deceiving around. I think he's a solid central midfield player alongside Juan Moutinho for Wolves. I think those two their partnership together. They're almost the same player.
He's going to need to leave. He's going to need to leave Wolves though to get up to that, to have that successful career. Do you know what I mean?
His career.
Yeah, I think
if sorry, Anton.
I think he will leave. I think he'll do a Jota. I could see him going somewhere like Liverpool or somewhere. So I think he will be successful.
Yeah, I think
I've no problem putting him in the youth or the successful category. Yeah. Like he's been sensational since he started, or since I seen him in the Premiership.
Yeah, class.
He's class.
Consistent.
Yeah, he's class.
So we're happy with.
You have to look. Yeah. You have to put if you look at all the other ones, it's hard to put him in all the other ones because you could say he could have a decent career, but I actually think he has that bit of a spark or that bit of quality about him. Yeah, he has that.
Especially where he plays, it's not easy. It's not quite common. You see players come up on the scene, and for Portugal, move over to England straight away. As we talked about Robertson earlier on, the transition to the Premier League, but he didn't move to the Premier League straight away. He moved to the Championship in English football, just below the Premier League. But not doubting his potential.
One of my Liverpool friends were after text me there saying, "How is Joe Gomez not in that list? An absolute cod, Bill. It's a cod."
Has he played much lately? He's been more than he's played, so forget about him.
Joe Gilmore.
Charlie Gomez. And like we said, this isn't necessarily the best.
Better Steve.
It's not necessarily the best.
It's just a selection. Like we've randomly picked these players.
Random selection. Yeah, we left out a few. We had about 70 players.
We all know we were leaving out some sensational players.
Here, lads, we're coming up on 2 hours of this. Imagine like the amount of players we could have in. This could be a 24-hour podcast. You know,
marathon podcast.
Oh man! Right. So Reece James.
I think I'll take Reece James here. 21 years of age. He's already 140 appearances between Chelsea and Wigan. In my opinion, he's just a little bit Trent is just a little bit better than him. I think Reece James is actually class. Like he's the exact same build or the exact same player as the Trent Alexander-Arnold. Up and down the pitch. He's a serious whip of the ball. It's just, will he have the hugely? I think he's going to have a hugely successful career. I'd like.
You know what? Again, look, I'm not a Chelsea fan, so you're obviously the man in the know. Just from a personal point of view, anytime I've actually sat down to watch Chelsea, Reece James has been the one player I've always thought looked a bit lost, and especially in that Arsenal Chelsea game, I do you know what? Again, I've only a little snippet to go off of, so it's not really fair the way I'm judging him. I'm just saying.
No, Anto, you're right. Like I know
no. Like for Reece James, he got Player of the Year for Wigan in the Championship, right? And he wasn't playing normally right back as well. He was asked to play left back, centre back, centre mid, and he done his job.
He's going to end up being
a proper pedigree for Premier League football.
Yeah, 100%.
Right now under Tuchel, like Tuchel has Colm Hudson-Odoi playing in the right wing back position. Like, why not have a player like Reece James who's like, he's a good crosser. He's actually his first notion of the ball is pass forward.
His delivery of the ball is exceptional. It's just as good as Trent.
Well, I will say, right, in my defence, I did do a podcast before the Arsenal-Chelsea game, and I pinpointed Reece James as the weak point in that team. And I said that if we're going to have any success, it's going to be Bukayo Saka up against it because he was kind of out on the left in around that time before it became the right. And I sort of said, I fancy Reece James, and it's not that I think he's a bad player. I just don't think he's going to have the. I don't know if he's switched on.
Reece James is going to be Chelsea's right back for the next 8 years.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be world class. Yeah. I don't think
he's not going to be world. I've no problem.
I can't find any faults in his play. Right, I actually can't.
I think he's one of my favourite Chelsea players at the minute, and he's an exceptional player. Tuchel came in and kept starting Azpilicueta. You can understand that you're going for experience. You want to kind of, but Reece James, 100% hugely successful career. He'd be whatever club he's at, he's going to be playing week in, week out, and he's going to be playing exceptionally well week in, week out. That's my opinion.
That's fair. Look, you've way more to go off than I have. It's like, I guess, for me with the Tierney kind of thing, you know, it divides so much.
Yeah.
But I honestly think that the people that don't rate Tierney, they don't watch Tierney. Honestly.
I rate Tierney. It's just when I'm having the argument with the boys, I just say Chilwell is a bit better. I do rate.
Oh yeah, no, look. The Chilwell Tierney argument aside, I'm just saying Tierney as a player. I'm just thinking the people.
Great player.
People that don't rate him, like, okay, look, he's not world class, but he's good. He's a good player, and I think anyone that's saying he's rubbish, they're not watching, or else they're watching, you know, like Man City the other day when he wasn't fit, and you know. You have to watch him, but look,
he'd make a right good journey, man.
Yeah, I'm the same with Reece James. I don't watch enough of him to fairly just.
I'd be fairly confident in saying.
I actually do hold him in high regard.
Yeah, I'd be fairly confident in saying that Reece James is going to have a really good career. From what I've seen from.
I think from my categories I had when I put him down here is I either have between a decent career or a hugely.
It's not like it's mad that you say that, though, because like most of Chelsea games I watch, when you watch Reece James, you seem to be the only player found wanting or whatever. For a good few games I watched there, Reece James was one of the only players that I actually thought played well.
it's in moments. I'm not saying
exactly. No, but that's what I'm saying. It's no, but I'm saying that it's mad how like you could watch this bit of one match and be like, geez, he doesn't look great, and then I watch this bit of this match and be like, oh, he's brilliant. So
I just think, right, all aside, where he didn't play, put that Arsenal game and Chelsea game aside, he's versatile. He's up. Yeah. He has like a leadership quality about him. Like versatility is so good to have as well. Like you know yourself, like players get injured, big name players are out of the squad. You know, Reece James. I think anywhere he's asked to do on the pitch, he'll do a job for you. He'd die for a club, 100%. I actually think he has a successful career at Chelsea, so that's where I put him down. Back to my point, he'll either between have a hugely successful career or a decent career. I am stuck between those two, but because I think his versatility at Wigan in the Championship, I know it wasn't the Premier League, but he has made a step up in the Premier League. I think he will have a hugely successful career.
Good man, Carl. I appreciate that one. I'm going with hugely successful as well.
I think, Squidge, my problem is, as an Arsenal fan, I'm used to watching the little details in players. We're always looking for mistakes as Arsenal fans. It's what we do. So I'm looking for these little errors in the game.
There's no doubt Reece James makes mistakes, but I just think he's 21 years of age. What he's going to do over the next 10 years, I think he's going to be. I honestly do. I think Bill. I have him in the same rank as Billy Gilmore, but like I know we put Billy Gilmore down as the upper. Reece James has played more and he's been in your face more than Billy Gilmore. That's why I'd be putting him above there. I have to go. Boys, I have to go for cigarettes. I'll be back in 1 second.
No,
he fire. Oh, wait there, Mason Mount.
Mason Mount.
We already know where this one's going, Squidge.
Highly successful career.
Highly successful.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I think that's fair. I don't think there's too much need for debate over
that. Yeah, I actually don't think, because like if you're asking for one player that's going to get in that squad week in, week out, that's
Mason Mount has been Chelsea's most consistent player since the Frank Lampard, Tommy Tuchel, I call him, era. Like he's always there, gives everything on the pitch. He took the penalty the other day when he won it. He's just, I honestly think he's going to be at Chelsea no matter what, because I think he's actually, like, you can lose a Reece James, you can lose Hudson-Odoi or whatever, but what Mason Mount offers, it's irreplaceable.
I think he sets the score for that team. Like, if you looking at analysis of Mason Mount and all that, like, you don't really have to go into too much detail about it. He sets the tone at the high press, like. The pressing that Chelsea does, it comes from Mason Mount. He's endless energy. He can run all day. He's only going to get better. That's when I think of Mason Mount, I just think he's only going to get better.
He's the first player on the starting lineup every week for Tuchel or Lampard when he's there. He's the first name that's going down. And you build a team around him. In my opinion.
Ever since he was playing at his derby days, I literally was like, "Who is brilliant?
He's class."
Is he future captain, Squidge?
If he stays there, definitely.
Yeah.
If he stays there, definitely, 100%. Out of all,
there's no reason for him not to stay there, Squidge.
I don't think so. As long as he's starting, he'll stay there. He came up. I think he signed. I think he came into the academy when he was 6, maybe 8. I think it was 6. His best friend is His best friend is Declan Rice. That's what I think. Declan Rice.
That was hard funny, right? On holidays together.
When he wakes up in the train. But that's why I think Declan Rice is going to come to Chelsea as well. I think that's another factor that I didn't mention earlier. But
to be honest, because he was at Chelsea years ago in the academy, like, so wouldn't.
Yeah, but like
I think a Paul Pogba type thing. He could come back.
He's a future, like, and there was a lot of fans on social media and comparing him to Lampard, and I think it's a bit unfair comparing any Chelsea player to Lampard. But the fact he's been. No, but the fact he's being compared to Lampard will show you how
deluded Chelsea fans.
I wouldn't say deluded. No, it just shows you how high esteem that he's actually held in.
Yeah.
I don't think they actually believe that he's ever going to do the things that Lampard did, because Lampard was the greatest Chelsea player of all time. But the fact that they're actually comparing him to Lampard, it just shows you how we hold him, what respect we have for him. Yeah. And I think Mason Mount, the world is at his feet. he's like, do you know what I mean? He never has a bad game, never.
No, he is. He actually gives his all, like there, like you can tell. Like
Squidge, just before you go for your smoke, there's one last Chelsea man. Give us a quick verdict, and then you leg it.
Right, slap myself on the belly. Oh boy, oh doy. Colin Hudson will die. Like the fact that Bayern Munich, one of the best teams in Europe right now, is coming in trying to get him for 40, 50 million, will just tell you how good this kid is. I don't know what the story is when Tuchel took him off the other day. He said his body language and his work rate, he didn't feel his energy was right or whatever. There might be something going on behind the scenes there that I don't know about, because you do not do that to a player that young lad. Like, you know, you need these young lads. And he's probably been... Mason Mount has been our most consistent.
Like, do you know what I mean?
Mason Mount has been our most consistent player, but since Tuchel took over, Hudson-Odoi has probably been our most threatening player and most exciting player to watch.
Yeah.
Maybe, like, do you know, like, there's no doubt that the young lad's ability.
Where's his best position, though? Is it right?
I think it's right. I think it's out top right.
For starters, I know you wouldn't have him as a right wing back.
Look, if he doesn't stay at Chelsea, he's going to go to Bayern Munich. If he goes to Bayern Munich, he's going to have a highly successful career.
Yeah.
So that's why I'd be putting him in the high. He definitely has the talent points. We've seen that. And if Bayern Munich is coming in from that,
100%. I 100% agree with you. I think he wants.
I just can't believe that Chelsea's not actually doing everything in their power to be like, okay, look, we'll mind you. We wrap you, nearly wrap them in cotton wool kind of thing. Like,
it's not. It wouldn't be the first time though Chelsea that a player like that of that quality to slide through the club.
Exactly, but you should be learning your lessons. But like, all the fans are mad for him. He's doing it on the pitch. There the other day, I couldn't believe he's taking. Like, even if you're having a bad game, you don't take a player like that off because you want to build up their confidence. You don't try to take.
Yeah. I watched that game live as well, and I was thinking of all players to take off. I thought Tuchel took to Hudson-Odoi better than he did anyone in that squad.
Yeah. Well, he did, and that's why he was starting most of the games, So it was actually that's why I found it even more weird. Because
look, there's no doubt he's got ability. I seen him play. I seen him play live. I went to see Arsenal against Chelsea, and on that day there was two players that stood out, and one for Arsenal, one for Chelsea. We're gonna talk about one of them next. But Hudson-Odoi, he ran rings around Bellerin.
He's so class.
I know that's not hard to do, but he looked serious. He did. He looked.
It's just Bellerin. Oh, lads.
No, we're not even going there.
Will you promise me and put Hudson-Odoi into the successful career? And
I think so. I think so.
2 hours now. Where's the flight to Spain? This.
Well, we're nearly there. Right? So this the next one now, right? Emile Smith-Rowe. This was the other player on the day that I thought was just absolutely class. He was Arsenal's best player by a long shot that game. In terms of what he's going to do, I don't. Do you know what? I want to say he's going to be world class. I don't think he's going to become world class though.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be hugely successful.
Like, from what I've seen of him, right, there's no brainer as to why Arsenal can't give him like a run of games. Like, he's been on loan at Huddersfield. He's been on loan in Leipzig.
Yeah, well, he didn't get to play at Leipzig because he was injured for the whole thing. I think he might have made a sub appearance or two, but
unfortunate. But I'm pretty sure like he would have used that time there, even though when he was injured, to learn and adapt. So he's playing just behind off the striker. So like he's asked to create and he's asked to fill the boots of Ozil. Like Smith-Rowe, I literally like when he was I don't know what game was it, but like he reminds me, or he has the potential to be a Kevin De Bruyne. Actually, that's something like
that's his nickname, isn't it? That's his nickname.
It's just on his day. He can be. He's like a young Kevin. He can be the likes of Kevin De Bruyne. It's just that like now he has competition for his place. Odegaard there. Like Anthony, you know better than anyone as well. Like at the club, I just think on his day he can.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think
he's been highly impressive since anytime I watched him. He's been one of Arsenal's best players.
You know what sets him apart is he's got the football IQ that I haven't seen out of many players over the last couple of years at Arsenal. This is why he gets the Ozil comparison. Do you know what? I think just what's holding him back at the moment is, like, I know he's still young. I want to see him develop a bit more physically. Like, he still looks kind of, I don't know. I've probably been a bit mean to him here, but it kind of looks like he kind of, a little pudgy face and that. He doesn't look. I know he's a professional footballer. He's fit. He doesn't look like a professional footballer, if that makes sense. I'd like him just to build up a little bit, because he's gonna. I think, like what's happening to Bukayo Saka. Like, lads are targeting Saka lately, and he's getting kicked about the pitch, and that's going to start happening to Smith Rowe. And he's had a few injuries, so I'd like him to sort of become a bit more solid over the next season or two, and be able to take the knocks and go shoulder to shoulder with players and that. And I think we'd see he'll step up even more. But
I think that's definitely if you're the senior players in the squad right now, we'd be telling them, here, come to the gym sessions with me or something. That sort of way, build them up.
Yeah.
But then again, like, Arsenal need competition for places as well right now to actually get to the highest place they can finish this year of what's been one of the worst seasons ever in the Premier League. But
it goes back. Sorry. For me, it goes back to the first point I made tonight, is that, and no disrespect again, Anto, for the Arsenal thing, but I think he's going to need to move on from Arsenal to have the highly successful career.
Yeah,
that's my opinion. I think if he stays at Arsenal for too long, they're not going to win the trophies that he's going to need to actually put him in that category.
You know what I think is going to do it as well? I think the more hype he gets and the better he does, England is going to come knocking, and that's going to change players' mentality. If he starts getting a sniff of being in and around the England side, and he's with these successful players and that, and they got at their clubs, and I think he's gonna start saying that's often what it comes down to for a player. If they want the international success, then they start reevaluating their club situation and kind of go
for clubs right now, like not even about how they're treated or what money they're on. It's just like, can I go and can I play? Like
the being English thing is the fact he's from England as well, and the media in England, like they're going to blow him up more than he should be blown up, and it's not good for him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because
Arsenal fans as well. Like, we do ourselves no favors with these guys. Like, give them time to develop and all. Like it drives me mad. Like, I can see so much potential in the guy, but people are going, "Oh, he's already better than Messi was at this age. He's already better than this." And you're going, like, lads, come on, slow down.
Relax. That's what the English media did. If you're an English player, it's nearly bad. It's nearly bad on him, because he's going to get blown up. What I've seen from so far, he's been really, really impressive. Where are you going to put him on this list now, Anto? I leave this one up to you here now. I give you the.
Yeah. Well, look. I said that as much as I wanted to be, I just don't see world class. I don't see it going that way. Then again, that's not to say if someone like Man City came in for him, I could see him being world class in a Man City team. He's definitely, worst case, he's going to have a decent career.
Oh, worst case, 100%.
Yeah.
Worst case. Like, I'd be looking between decent career and successful career. That's where I'd be. I think he's going to need to move on from Arsenal to have that successful career. Now, obviously, if he stays at Arsenal, he's going to be a really good player for Arsenal. He will.
Yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind about that. But it's just, I think, Cahill, we should leave this one out. We give him this one. We'll let him shout this one, will we?
Yeah.
Right. Well, I think to be fair as possible, I think I'm just going to go decent career, because I think, like that, if he stays at Arsenal, he's not going to win the trophies and the medals and that. He'll get a couple of FA Cups, I'm sure, along the way. But
it's inevitable.
Like I think I see as well. While we have like a guy like Arteta in charge, I think Arteta. I don't know if he fully trusts him. I think it's just he kind of stumbled upon him and had to use him, and it has worked. I just feel like Arteta's waiting for him to hit a bad patch for an excuse to almost take him out of the team again. That's just my feeling. That I just think Arteta might kind of hamper his progress a little bit. So I'm just going to go decent career. If you're happy to go decent.
Yeah, I'm happy with that, Anto. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, at the very least, decent career. Very least, he's a solid player, definitely.
I mean, there's very little United players for me to talk about tonight, boys. Very shocked, but it is what it is.
There's another one or two coming, I'd say.
There are. Like this one now, before we say anything, I'm actually throwing it out there. I actually think this lad can become world class. Not necessarily at Arsenal. I don't think he'll stay at Arsenal his whole career. I think the whole England team, he's in the England setup already, and he's already getting man of the match for England. He had a man of the match performance against Ireland. He played left wing back, and he's a right winger. I agree with you. Anton. I think world class as well for this lad. Yeah,
I've actually watched since we start doing the podcast, and I did a couple of podcasts on your channel, and I was actually ended up watching Arsenal games and like actually following them. Sometimes you're on the phone and sometimes but like I actually ended up watching Arsenal games, and Saka was by far the best player on the pitch. Yeah. He's scary. He's so scary to defenders. He never stops running at defenders all game. I definitely think world class. I think he's going to go to a Real Madrid or Barcelona.
Yeah. I actually know something, but I don't know if he'd even go to Real Madrid or Barcelona. I think he probably wants to. He'd want to stay at Arsenal and win stuff at Arsenal. I can think by his interviews and why he talks. Like,
there's a difference between staying at Arsenal and winning stuff at Arsenal. And it's going to come down to whether the board actually spend money around them and actually buy the players around them that they're going.
But it's very rare. Like in this day and age, like do they have? If Bukayo Saka is up for sale and Arsenal willing to sell him, and Real Madrid or Barcelona, they don't have the finance. I wouldn't say to actually.
But they're not gonna have the finance either to get the forward or the other 3 or 4 players required for Arsenal to take that step up. The other 60, 70 million players, like that's just the way it is. I honestly
do see like what's the first thing Bukayo Saka does when he gets the ball? Do you know what I'm saying? He wants to attack. He wants to get his team
head down and go.
I watched him against Leeds, and
that game against Leeds, he was unreal. Now I don't think the first penalty was a penalty, but it was just constant. It was literally every time he got the ball, it was go.
And even against you, Squidge, not to put me wrong, at the end of the game, that cross wasn't a shot. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's that's just why even against us, like. We lost 1-0. I'm just saying, like, consistently he's there. As again, Anto pointed out, he's going to be targeted now. So he's going to get.
Lee Clark's after saying their goals and assists need to improve, but you have to understand how young he is. Like, what is he? He's 9.
Not only that though.
I don't think he needs to improve. I just think he's definitely going to get back.
He's going to explain.
He doesn't need to work on this game.
But you know, last season, now I haven't got the figure off the top of my head, but last season he had loads of assists, and he was playing as a left wing back. This season, he's only just become a right winger this season, and he's already got 5 goals, and he's only just really picked up that position.
I think he's such a joy to watch. I honestly,
I have no problem putting Saka.
I have nothing but praise for Bukayo Saka, blood fly yang.
Bukayo blood clot Saka. Right, so we're going. Can be world class, yeah.
Yeah. You're delighted you got that one Arsenal player in there, aren't you?
I had to. I couldn't not. Look, to be fair to the kid as well, like he's 19 and he is carrying Arsenal, absolutely carrying them. And like what I always say to people is, it's one thing to be versatile enough to play in a number of positions. It's another thing to play them positions and be the best option. If he plays left wing,
if I could take one player off Arsenal at the minute, I'd take Saka, definitely. And I think any other Premier League team if they could take one player off Arsenal to be Saka. He's your best, and he's so young, but he's scary good for how young he is.
Yeah, definitely. Right, next one, lads. This should be a good one. Pedro Neto, Wolves.
Did I read this right when I was doing a bit of research? Is he 18 years of age?
20.
Right, 20. Right, sorry, right. I must have read that wrong.
I was thinking, like, another Portuguese guy gone over to Wolves. Now, again, as we mentioned earlier, would have got to do with the agent. The agent probably has a massive part in it. It's just that, like, Pedro Neto, like, what he's doing right now for the absence of Jimenez, and, like, he's the driving force of Wolves. Like, he's the reason why they're not going to get relegated. Not saying they're not going to get relegated,
when Jimenez comes back, and when, like, he's probably he might still stay in the team or whatever, but is he going to make that jump to your Man City, to your Liverpool, to
I think so, yeah. Look,
he's showing glimpses, lads. Like, he's taking responsibility.
Great. Right, good player. But is he going to be that good? Is he? Do you think so?
No. Well, I'm just going to break it down though, like, as to why I think bought for what, £7 million from Lazio. Like, no one heard of this guy. No one, like, he's just fresh on the scene. I'm taking a gamble on him. We're still yet to discover that. Why I think he stepped up this season.
Yeah.
It's so good.
That Wolves team, definitely too good for that Wolves team, and he's only 20, and like anyone that's sort of too good for their team at 19, 20, has serious potential. I don't think he'd look out of place at a bigger side at the moment, like the way he's playing.
Yeah, he looks really good. I just don't know, but like if he went to Man City, he'd be swallowed up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
he just get lost to the recruitment system, the big monies. Is he better off staying at a team like Wolves till he's 24, 25, and then making that big money switch?
Yeah.
Until he's 28, 29, and then getting that one fight. Do you know that? Instead, if he went to Man City or Liverpool now in the next couple of years, he's probably not going to get the games he needs to develop his game properly.
Exactly. Yeah.
So he's better off staying at the Wolves now, where he's going to be getting the minutes.
It's a perfect club for him, and like that, he's versatile as well across the front three. Yeah. He stepped up this season. Like going by this season alone as well. Like, I just think he'll have a decent career. Like, he's not going to be outstanding. He's not going to be.
I think decent career as well. I think decent career. I can't see him. I can never see him being the main man for City or main man for Barcelona or whatever.
I always think players like that at a smaller club where they're getting the game time and they're developing. I always think they're mad to make the move to like a City or a bigger club. Like, I think 23, 24. Then start thinking about your move. Like, if you're getting minutes week in, week out at a Premier League and you're 20, stick with it.
Yeah, exactly. It's actually more important to stick with it. Like, because it'll show you there, Havard, for example. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he was big, the big guy at Leverkusen. He goes to Chelsea. Now everyone's like, oh, this lad, he's useless, or he did, And obviously, there's a lot of different factors that comes into play when you're talking about players or whatever. But, like, you're better off if you're getting the minutes. Take the minutes. You're still young, and I know Premier League career is short. You're talking 10, 12 years for most players, shorter in some cases.
Yeah.
But when you're in a team that actually you feel comfortable in, you're playing well in, it's a lot. Like, you go to a bigger team, then and all of a sudden you have a run of bad games, 2-3 bad games. The fans start getting on top of you. Then you're out of the team. Then
things go downhill, like, and that's it. Like, you won't get better than
that. So where do you want to put?
It's between.
I think a decent career at the minute.
Yeah, a decent career.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Right, up next, Phil Foden. I think it's going to be a pretty handy one.
I think we need to create a new category because I think this lad is a future Ballon d'Or winner.
Yeah. As much as I hate to say it, like City, massive rivalries between us and City.
He's by far the best player on this list.
Yeah.
By far the best player on this list.
I mean, and you know what I mean, is gone.
Yeah, easy.
Like, it's time for him now to really show why.
But it's lads, you can see when he's playing. Like, this is a Man City team that you're talking about. Like, you look at Man City's bench against Arsenal the other day. Kyle Walker, Aguero, Jesus. He was actually on the bench. But like, you're looking at that bench, like, he's actually involved in one of the best squads ever assembled in the Premier League, and he's actually starting to become one of their main talisman now at the minute already. And like, Pep Guardiola already said to these, like, he compared him to Messi, like, and Pep wouldn't compare one of his current players to Messi. He wouldn't put that pressure on him unless he actually believed it and taught it. Like, he's as close as a thing to Messi as I've seen since Messi.
Yeah, he's class. You know what I like about him, and I like about the Foden situation is, right, you can see how good he is and how good he can become. And I see this a lot with the Arsenal fan base. I tend to get so much stick. People are going, he's not giving Saliba a chance. He's not giving Martinelli a chance. He's not doing this. He's not playing these players yet. And they're saying it in a way, it's like, well, that player's not going to develop and his career's not going to, work out and whatever. But like, if you look at Foden, like, Guardiola wasn't throwing him in, week out. He took him and was patient. And look, he's developing.
Yeah, like
no better manager for him to develop under him.
I've like future Ballon d'Or winner, definitely. I'll do a podcast without a top on. I do one in an Arsenal top. I'll do a podcast in an Arsenal top if Phil Foden doesn't win a career or a Ballon d'Or in his career.
I wouldn't do that to you, Squidge. I like you too much for that.
I do. Your jerseys might be a bit small in my arms, Anto, and a bit small in the stomach. but I'll do.
That's what I'd like to see him play more often, lads. You know what I mean? He definitely need. He has the fear factor.
More often.
He has all the credentials to be the best.
He's going to be Man City's main man for the next 12, 15 years. Fact.
Yeah.
He's the best. He's going to be the best player in the Premier League. We're going to be talking about Phil Foden in the likes of Scholes, Gerrard, Lampard in another 10, 12, 15 years.
I think
that's
so.
Fact.
Yeah, that's easy call, really. Right,
the easiest call, Ballon d'Or. Put him up a level.
So here we go. We're moving on to Burnley now. Dwight McNeil. Don't know if you know too much about Dwight McNeil.
He's Burnley's best attacking threat. Like, you know what I mean? He's the only one on Burnley's team
that's driving Burnley up the field.
But he's the only one on Burnley's team in a long time that actually has a bit of flair. Do you know that Burnley's like this? Do you know that the two big lads up front? But then Dwight McNeil came on the scene. He actually had a bit of flair going around a couple of players, getting across it.
Yeah.
You know this kind of thing. He's actually a decent player. Now, is he? He's not. Look, we can rule him out of the top two. He's not going to have a high.
Burnley, no.
He's not going to be world class.
Yeah.
Will he have a decent career? Will one of the top? Even outside, will an Everton?
I don't know. Like, with the clubs like that, like, Burnley don't really like to let go of their best players.
I think Journey, man.
Yeah,
I
think so. Yeah,
but that's why the reason why I was going to get to the point is because, like, at some stage, maybe the player himself would look to say, "Look, I'm better than what's in front of me here. I need to go to a club that's like, plays more attacking football, free flowing possession football." Instead of hoofball, hoping for the best.
I could see him going to a Southampton or.
I could see him going to a Leicester, lads, one day. Like, he definitely. Yeah. He's sitting there.
Only if Leicester, Harvey Barnes or Madison.
I think for a player like that, when you're at a club like Burnley, you have to be like an amazing standout talent to get a big move. You have to be unreal and you have to be doing sort of like. Say last season, Jack Grealish at Aston Villa, a struggling team, but still look world class, And
exactly
at the minute, Dwight McNeil, you see glimpses of it, but he's not carrying the team by any means.
It's not consistent either. It's not, you see glimpses, as I said. It's not week in, week out. 1 in 5 games, he has good game.
Yeah, exactly. So I think where we have him, I think is probably fair.
It's as fair as they come.
That's it. Right. So
Tierney.
Lamptey. Right.
I'm really disappointed. Really disappointed that Chelsea decided to leave Chelsea. I can completely understand why he did it.
Yeah.
Because and obviously he's getting the minutes now at Brighton, and now not everyone's talking about him, but everyone knows his name. Do you know what I mean? And he's playing. Watch Brighton play. Tyler Lamptey, he's class. He's actually brilliant. It's just that Reece James was in the same position, and I think they just decided to keep Reece James over. Do you know they get Reece James?
Fullbacks for England, I tell you, he actually is. This kid offers a different kind of game. He's so fast. He can actually afford to go forward because he knows the pace to track back.
I really rate him. I really do rate him. I think he's up there. He's up there with Reece James. I think he's a little bit less of a player than Reece James, but I think he's up there. And I think if Reece James wasn't at Chelsea, he'd be your man coming through at Chelsea.
Yeah, well, in fairness, like that, Reece James has had the loan move, and I think that's why it made sense to keep Reece James, because you've invested the time and given him a loan move to help him develop, and now he's more ready to play first team football. Where Lamptey, I think Lamptey made his debut against Arsenal when he was 17 or something like that.
Yeah.
So look, he was still a bit unknown, but he's developing brilliantly.
Still very early in his career.
I wouldn't surprise if he gets the England cap. Has he got one? He hasn't got one already, has he?
I'm not too sure.
I can't see it. It won't be too far on the corner, lads. If he says that.
But this is his breakthrough season, lads. So I mean, we're getting. We're not seeing the best company, but we're now starting to see why we're talking about.
He'll end up moving. He'll definitely move up the ladder from Brighton. I think we can put him in the decent category here. If I'm being honest.
I honestly think, because there's been a lot of speculation, I could see him maybe at Arsenal, because he's staying in London, he go back to London. Sorry, because he was at Chelsea.
Yeah,
he go back to London, and look, whatever about Arsenal, it's a jump up from Brighton, and he's supposed to be an Arsenal fan from what I've heard. So, and we're definitely going to be looking for a right back, and especially now with the rumours of Bellerin possibly off the PSG. I've seen that today, whether that's true or not. But
he'd be a right good signing for Yento. I'm telling you that now.
We need that type of. He would definitely suit the type of right back we need. Yeah, definitely. So I think he'd be a no-brainer for us.
Yeah, I'm telling you now, he's a right good player. He definitely. Where are we putting him?
This is his breakthrough season, lads. So where do you think he'll actually fit?
I think decent, because it's too
decent now.
And if he goes to Arsenal, it's probably just going to be decent.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Are you happy with decent?
I'm not going to argue too much there.
I'm happy with decent, and it's there. You can't tell how good or bad he's going to be. Exactly like Ryan Soren says.
Yeah.
But you can't tell how good or bad most is. Foden could break his leg tomorrow and be gone. That could be the end of it.
Yeah, and then let's go then.
This is just what has come so far. Here we go. Mason Greenwood. I have to get a bottom for this one, boys.
Yeah, we've 3 left. 3 left.
3.
Yeah. All right, go on, Colin.
Here we go, Mason Greenwood. I mean, Ali has found a player now in the academy that has literally got us United fans glimpse of hopes of here is one for the future. Just again, kind of like Rashford's kind of breakthrough as well. But in terms of, he was given his debut in the Europa League against Astana and became the youngest European goal scorer for the club, 17 years of age, I think. But the thing about it is Mason Greenwood. I don't think I have to say too much about Mason Greenwood. All I need to say is that if he continues to keep his head down, and whatever, he can still play. He can play left wing, he can play right wing, play the striker. He's asked to play right wing majority of the time because that position is up for grabs. I just don't think this season he's having as good of an impact season as he had last season. He's nowhere near inconsistent enough this season compared to last season. Yeah. But from what I've seen last season, and even this season, he can get that goal. He's such a natural finisher. He reminds me of Robin Van Persie. Just the natural finishing, lethal in front of goal. Yeah. I don't think he's like Rashford, where he misses the tap-ins. I think his sidesteps confuse the defenders and all. Like what do you think? Like when you talk about Wesley?
I think if Sir Alex Ferguson was still over United, he'd end up being world class without doubt.
Yeah,
but I think because of the way, I still actually do think he'll end up being world class. In my opinion, he's the most exciting coming through at United in a long time.
Yeah,
he broke all the records for under 3s, under 18s. I'm nearly sure he did anyway. It was like
you're right. He did he
was just
in the media now. He was over the summer. Him and Foden.
This is another English thing, you know what I mean? To find a way to bring down the English young lads, like it's like.
But you're right, lad. The thing about it as well is that they were slating him. I know, like over the summer with the models and all up in Iceland breaking COVID restrictions and that. But like they were always saying that Mason Greenwood's slacking. He's always late for training. He's this, that, and the other. Like, and all he's just trying to do his best, but it just containing that.
If it was up to me, and I hate United, if it was up to me, I definitely have Mason Greenwood in the world class category. I think
that's fair play, Switch, because you recognise talent as well. And
I think, as you say, Carl, as long as he keeps his head screwed in his shoulders, he's going to be world class. You can't deny it. He can get a goal out of anywhere. He's definitely world class.
He can add assists to his game. Like he can. Like he gets into dangerous areas, he's right foot or left foot. Like he's clinical. He can be clinical. But I just there's a lot going on behind the scenes now. Well, I'm not too sure what the story is. I just think that hopefully, come towards the end of this season, he actually steps up because Martial is just having a woeful season, and I don't see it improving.
Yeah. It was like Squidder, as you said. Look, if Alex Ferguson was there, I would have absolutely no doubt that he'd go on to be world class because you've the best man in place to keep him on the right track. Look, I know he's got all the potential in the world. I think what it's going to come down to is, can Ole or whoever's going to be there in future, can they get the best out of him? Can they manage that? Obviously, look, the top 2 tiers is a no-brainer for him. Definitely.
Definitely. One or the other.
I'm going to let you make the call on this one because I can see the potential.
Put him in the top one. I'm telling you, man.
Put him in the top. Honestly, look.
Out of all them players coming through at the time they came through, I heard the most about Mason Greenwood, and do you know what I mean? Like he's only what is he? He's 90.
Typical Chelsea fan saying this now. He needs to cop on big time before world class status. His decisions outside of football will hold him back already at such a young age. But sure, what's the same with Foden? Foden done the exact same thing he's in the media for.
But see, Man City just covered it better. Like that's just.
It's not about covering it better. It's they're at United because United are bigger.
They backed them better.
Yeah.
How did they back them better?
They hit it better. They just completely you know what I mean? They took Foden in. Like Mason Greenwood's in the social media.
And he didn't really get started in the next few games either than that, or the start of the season. And then they started saying that he was late.
There's no doubt that Mason Greenwood can be world class. It's just what he has between the
anyone that
years.
can't actually see that genuinely don't know if they'll never make it as a scout. My mind is a football and all this is like
Mason Greenwood has it. Definitely. It's just whether he has the brain, whether he has the people around him to actually get him to that level. He definitely has it to go to that level, whether it's the people around him to do it. You're only going to Solskjaer. I don't know if he's Is Solskjaer going to be the right man? I don't know.
Well, look, he's surprising us all, isn't he? We're where we are on the table. And a lot of people are like, United don't deserve to be there. But at the end of the day, we're Man United, we should be there. We're the club of that stature, always should be competing.
All right, lads, we've 2 left. Curtis Jones, Liverpool.
2 Curtis Joneses.
This is Charlie Jones.
This is Charlie. Oh, Charlie, he works in Tesco's. Curtis Jones for me, I think decent career. I think the only reason that he's getting there's no doubt he's a good player. I think the only reason he's getting extended run in the Liverpool team now is because of the injuries at Liverpool. I think once all the top guns come back in at Liverpool, he's going to be pushed a little bit more down the pecking order. And then as time goes on, then he won't want to stay there, or he might stay there, but he'll only be getting in the team. He's appearance.
There are a lot of I've seen a lot of comparisons to him and Gerrard. Like Gerrard has spoken highly of him since he left. and there was
He's a
talk
great
of
player.
going over to Rangers on loan with him as well. But like for me, he made the difference when he came on there. Was it against West Ham? There was it that fight that Milner was like, "Hey, why are you taking me off for?" Like, and then Curtis Jones.
He scored straight away. There's no doubt he's a great player. I just think that I think once the boys come back for Liverpool, he's going to be pushed back down, and he won't get the minutes he needs to actually fulfill.
At the start of the season, he has been playing. Maybe it's because of Naby Keita, which now the moment
all the boys are out injured.
But see, as well as that, like with the season Liverpool are having, they're going to be under serious pressure to reinvest in that squad. You know, is he going to get the same opportunities if they go out and spend millions on a new squad?
And they're not going to get the same amount of money to pay for Naby Keita again either. Like.
Yeah, I just think that whether they rate him or not, I just think Klopp is going to be under serious pressure because, like, you know, to win the league, and look, all the hype about one of the best teams ever in the Premier League, and then to have a season like they've had, injuries aside, you know what I mean, you still shouldn't be performing as bad as you are. Like if you're like with the squad you had, you can't be performing the way he performed this season.
Anytime Curtis Jones has been on the pitch, though, he's nearly been one of the best players for Liverpool as well. He scored that cracker against Everton. Was it in the FA?
I think he does have potential. It's just in a way due to Liverpool's form, like you know that sort of way. Like everyone is not at their best, and it's not just fair to pick him out.
When I look at I actually be putting Curtis Jones into the hugely successful career category. If I'm looking at the hugely successful career category, I'm looking at the decent career category so far. Let's say,
and he obviously I don't think he has him either. Like, and I do think he'll probably be a one club man as well.
I think, in fairness, though, right? If you were to look by who's in each category, like I think there's better players in the decent career than probably where we're gonna put Jones. You know, I don't think it necessarily goes by whether you're a better player or not. It's just where your career path is going to take you.
Yeah, but I do think I think Jones has potential that wherever he goes, like obviously he's not going to go to Man City or he's not going to go to a better team than Liverpool from Liverpool. He's probably going to have to take a step down in his career to get the minutes. Yeah, is all I'm saying. He might. There's a chance he's that good that he might break into the Liverpool team.
Yeah, he might. He might.
Well, I think he's under the right manager to break in and solidify.
It's just as Anto said that they're going to be under pressure to spend the money and recruit and buy these players. And when you buy players,
yeah, okay.
It's just the way it goes in football.
I had him down between either hugely successful or a decent career, because I just think at the start of this season, like he has been playing all right. Like
he's been playing better than all right now. In all fairness,
he's a
91% pass rate. Pass rate, which is like, you know what I mean. Thiago's come
in fairness, though, you look at Mohamed El-Neni's stats, he's probably fucking 102% pass rate, you know, because of sideways passes.
No, but Curtis Jones, like these are actually like you said it, these are actually forward passes. Yeah. I looked it up. It's 91% forward passes success rate. So it's not just here to the side, Thiago here left or back. You know what I mean? You're actually look, boys. He's only a young lad.
This is why I don't really buy into statistics too much, because like a forward pass, like. You know, you look at your left back and your right back, every pass is pretty much going to be forward. And, you know, if you look at statistics, you know, it's just a bit too much in depth. You can go, well, you know, this is why he's the best right back in the league, because it's forward.
In my opinion, anytime Curtis Jones has played on the pitch for Liverpool, he never looked out of place. He actually always, like, sometimes he adds a bit of spark to the team, like he did against Everton that time, scoring a cracker or whatever. He always looks like he could ignite at any minute. That's who I look. That's who I look at him. Yeah, I definitely
belong in Tesco's, anyways, right?
Oh, we're either putting him in the decent or the successful.
Yeah,
I'm leaving it up to you, because
I'll give it a shout. I'll put him in the successful. I think
I'm happy with that. And just to answer that one there, the three of us, I think, are going to be applying for Tesco.
A bit of retail experience.
I'm barred out Tesco's.
Right, we're on the last one, lads. The very, very last one. And I'm going to try my best to spell this name right.
Tesco's.
I think I have this first name right. Charlie Mitchell.
Charlie Mitchell.
So Tyreek Mitchell.
One of the cheapest defenders in the fantasy football that has done has got you out of trouble.
Looks good.
Why is he Is this Crystal Palace? Is that it? This
Crystal Palace left back was being linked to Arsenal because his contract runs out at the end of the season. I think he's 21. Kind of his breakthrough season. He looks decent. He's as far as I know, he's been keeping Van Aanholt out of the team.
But that's not hard though. Given that Van Aanholt is like,
he's working in Tesco's.
Injury. This guy's in form now. But like, so I honestly think it's between Journeyman or Tesco's. I haven't seen enough of them.
I haven't seen enough of them, but just the fact that we haven't seen enough of them, we can't really. Should we say?
No, I did. So anytime I've seen him play, I just think the Palace have lost. They haven't played.
I'm going to be completely honest here. Himself and Rondon for Spurs. They're the two players on this list who I literally have not seen play.
I'm the same as myself.
And I just honestly can't give a proper opinion if I haven't actually seen a person play. Like I know it's only on television or whatever, but you have to see them playing at least once before you can give a proper opinion on them. So I'm going to leave this one completely up to. I think it's you, Anto, that's getting this call.
Again, I've only seen bits and pieces myself. I obviously looked a little bit closer when I saw the links to Arsenal, but I'll be honest, I partially think the links to Arsenal were because he is available, because you could get him on a pre-contract. I don't necessarily think it's because he's a standout player. Like he looks okay. There's definitely potential, but again, I think the link to Arsenal was an easy link to make because at the time you knew we were looking for a backup for Tierney with the injuries, and we were playing Cedric Suarez left back. So I think it was easy to go, right, there's a kid playing at a London club. It would be a step up in London for him. He's available either for a minimal fee in January or you can get him on a pre-contract. I don't necessarily think it's because he's overly talented. Decent, I'd say, at best.
So Journeyman then is what we've thought. The same.
I haven't done Journeyman or Tesco's.
Because if he stays at Crystal Palace, there's a good chance he's going to end up being a journeyman. If he goes to Arsenal, he's not good enough, there's a good chance he's going to end up being a journeyman. Do you know what I mean?
You know what? He probably will end up at Tesco, and maybe just so I can, or I actually meant to say, I actually meant to say he might end up at Arsenal, but it's not far off working at Tesco nowadays, is it?
That's what Anto thinks Arsenal is Tesco.
Oh, that's. Yeah, but I was going to say, look, he might end up at Arsenal. But just for the last, so I can look back at this, I want to put him in Tesco, just so if he goes to Arsenal and becomes really good, everyone can look back and go, do you remember you put him in Tesco?
Yeah,
I'd be happy to put him in
something serious, like.
Sure, I'd be doing Tesco.
I'll be doing a podcast shirtless if Phil Foden doesn't win a Ballon d'Or. Right? We're all we all make outrageous remarks here.
Can we go Tesco? There we go.
We're putting him in Tesco just to fill up the Tesco range. Tesco's finest. He can be Tesco's
finest there, boys and girls.
Well, lads, we finally got to the end, and can you imagine now, right, with that list of players, can you imagine if we got...
Imagine the squad you'd have if you had them. If you had them players, imagine you had them.
Arteta, if you had Ollie, or if you had Tuchel.
El Squidgy door. We need the El Squidgy door.
But here, can you imagine had we gone with the original list, which had about 60, 70 players?
That list just...
I know. That list, we're here 2 hours and 40 minutes now early, and like that was it.
I'm having great fun with this, boys. It's a great thing. Thanks all the viewers as well.
The last thing before we go, boys. The last thing before we go. Now, we're not going to do it. If you had to pick one of them players on that list and change them to another category, who would it be?
Oh, this is going to be another half hour at least.
Yeah. I go Wan-Bissaka, decent career.
Decent.
You don't need to explain it. You just say it. Wan-Bissaka, decent career. If any of the viewers out there, if you could change one player off that list and put them into a different category, who would it be? And don't forget to like and subscribe.
That's another question. Like.
We need subscribers.
Maybe Curtis Jones to Tesco's. But maybe Curtis Jones to decent career.
Right, that's fair enough. That's fair. Anto?
I would like to say Martinelli will be hugely successful. I'd like to, or else Smith Rowe, or preferably both at Arsenal. I would like to change them, but I'd
like, basically what you're saying is I'd like if Arsenal was really good in the future.
I'd like if Arsenal would become good again, so we wouldn't have to be on par with Tesco, basically, or the Tesco of the league.
Right, I think we did well there. I think we did well.
Yeah, so again, look, shout out to everybody for watching. Thanks so much for your likes, comments, everyone who subscribes. And look, lads,
big shout out to the man there.
We'll be back again in a couple of days, yeah?
Yeah, but I think we should ban that Ryan Soren. I think we should ban that Ryan Soren. He keeps giving me grief there on the comments. I'm not happy about it at all.
If anything, we're gonna bring him up to elite status, because the more abuse, the better. The more abuse. Right. We embrace the abuse. Actually, lads, while people are watching, if you see the ticker going by down the bottom, you have all our Twitter handles. Get in touch with us on Twitter. Give us a couple of ideas.
We need subscribers, boys. We need subscribers.
Not even just that. The subscribers are great, but give us some ideas. What do you want to see us?
What do you want to hear? Yeah.
Give us some ideas. We're happy to talk about anything, preferably football related.
Preferably football related and PG.
Yeah, so lads, if we leave it there. So lads, thanks for coming on the panel tonight, Cathal and Squidger. It's been a pleasure as always.
Sorry to keep you waiting again, lads, for the technical difficulties.
It was worth it. It was worth it.
But I hope it's worth it. I hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks very much.
All right, see you later, lads. Have a good one.
1 hour of Jesse Lingard next, coming up right now.
Hey, Lings, blood.
Jesse Lingard to Tesco next.